Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Thursday, July 24th, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ORIONNWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the Seattle Mariners versus the Los Angeles Angels. First pitch is going to be here in just a couple minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into the starting lineups. Happy Thursday, everyone. And on the thumb on the left is the best catcher in baseball, big dumper Cal Raleigh. And on the right, the future Hall of Famer, who usually DHs nowadays, Mike Trout. Now let's get into the starting lineups here first for the visiting Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners at shortstop, J.P. Crawford. Batting second, playing center field, Julio Rodriguez. Batting third, catching today for Seattle, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, left fielder, Randy Arozarena. Batting fifth, DHing today for Seattle, Mitch Garver. Batting sixth, playing second base, Jorge Polanco. Batting seventh, playing first base, Donovan Solano. Batting eighth, playing right field, Dylan Moore. And batting ninth, playing third base, Ben Williamson. And on the mound for the Mariners with a 3-3 record, an ERA of 3.81, it is Logan Evans. And now let's get into the starting lineups here for the home Los Angeles Angels. Leading off for the Angels at shortstop, Zach Neto. Batting second, DHing today for Los Angeles, Mike Trout. Batting third, playing first base, Nolan Shonowell. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, left fielder, Taylor Ward. Batting fifth, playing third base, Yohan Moncada. Batting sixth, playing center field, Joe Adele. Batting seventh, catching today for the Angels, Travis d'Arnaud. Batting eighth, playing right field, Lamont Wade Jr. And batting ninth, playing third base, Luis Rengifo. And on the mound for the Angels with a 4-6 record, an ERA of 3.13, Yusei Kikuchi. And we'll be shooting for 20 likes within the first hour, 50 at the halfway point, and we'll be shooting for 100 likes and 100 on the Dono train. Kikuchi on the mound, J.P. Crawford in the box. Let's go, baby. Cool Kid in the building. What is good? Cole in the building. What's good? How are you? Dank Bud in the building. What's good? Naylor to Seattle, baby. Anything that we can add, to the roster is definitely going to be a big deal. I've definitely been prepping thumbnails and getting everything ready for the stream. Obviously, Eugenio Suarez, would be the number one, but anything after that with O'Hearn or Naylor or any other piece that can help us win is definitely a plus. And on top of that, we obviously need bullpen help, 2 or 3 guys. I would say 1 at the very minimum, but again, based on how the bullpen has looked, it would be closer to 2, 3, or 4 guys if they were really serious about making a run, because we're going to need to replace some of the guys that just can't get it done in the pen. But I do really like Naylor to Seattle. We need some depth, at first base. third base, right field, and the bullpen. So we did knock one of those check marks off the board. First pitch from Kikuchi to JP Crawford. Takes a strike looking high and away. 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch. Takes another strike looking right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes from Kikuchi to Crawford. Yeah, he's a good player. He's solid. And again, with Solano, we already ended up getting rid of Rowdy Tellez, so they're not going to get rid of Solano. He'll probably just move to the backup role, or maybe, a backup DH guy, or just a fill-in guy. But we need someone a little bit better, and they addressed it. 0-2 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to JP Crawford. John in the building, what's good? I sure hope so, Drew. I mean, that's going to be the position that will help the Mariners the most. 1-2 pitch, in play, and grounds out to second, throw to first, 1 away. But again, there's going to be a lot of teams that want Gino, including the Cubs, the Yankees, and the Dodgers. So you got to think, if he goes to one of those 3 teams, that could put them kind of over the top, especially with like the Cubs and the Dodgers. And obviously with the Yankees, they could always use another piece since they lost Soto and he signed with the Mets. Even though Goldschmidt and some of the others that have come in have done a pretty good job, adding a guy like Eugenio Suarez, who's, one of the top hitters in the game in 2025, especially for power, would be a plus. First pitch to Julio Rodriguez, low and away, 1-0 count. And we're definitely going to need Julio to get going early and often. 1-0 pitch, fouled right down the middle, 1 ball and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. We need tridents up, baby. Let's go. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Top of the first inning, we're on MLB Network on a global broadcast. All day in the building, what's good? Let's get this W. Yeah, and again, every single Mariner fan, even if you're not too familiar with Naylor, look up his stats. You can go on YouTube and watch, some of the highlights and whatnot. This is going to be a really good addition to the roster. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Kikuchi to Julio. He's the game right here. Obviously, we're going to need Logan Evans to pitch a decent game. He's good at home, but not very good on the road. So if he can keep it from 3 runs given up or less, preferably 1 or 2, that will give us a good chance. If Logan Evans gives up more than 3 runs, it's going to be hard to win. Magic number is 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. We hit that. We should be able to compete and win. 2-2 pitch, in play, and look at my boy, J-Rod. My boy. Love seeing you be able to get on base early. Nice job, J-Rod. Tridents up. Let's go, M's. Next up, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And it also shows you, when we don't have Cal in the lineup, it's almost impossible to win or compete. His presence as catcher, giving good morale and, making sure everyone is on the same page for the pitching staff, so important. Defensively, better than Garver. And on top of that, he gives you a chance to get singles, doubles, and home runs from either side of the plate, left and right. He is the best catcher in the game, top 3 player this year with Shohei and Aaron Judge. And I'm glad he's in the lineup here today. First pitch, low and at the knees. No, fouled off. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike to big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Wild pitch there, and let's see if Julio is safe at second. Here we go. Cole with a 5er. Appreciate you. Love getting Naylor. And again, we've been linked to Naylor for quite some time. So stacks, racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. We're at 5. We'll get a picture of Naylor up or anything else that you want. Let me know, and I got you. We're at 5, 95 to go. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike from Kikuchi to big dumper, Cal Raleigh. But really the main guys that I was looking at, was Gino was 1. I would say Naylor 2, O'Hearn from the Orioles 3, and then 3 bullpen pieces if we can get them, And again, that may be getting a starting pitcher and moving him into the pen, or just hoping that there'll be a few teams that'll let go of some guys that are in the pen. But the thing is that every single team, all 30, don't really have amazing bullpens, so they're going to hang on to, most of their guys, but maybe we can get lucky and grab at least one or two to help, fill in the gaps from guys like Carlos Vargas, Trent Thornton, Colin Snyder, Legomina, and a few others that we don't really trust. 2-1 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 2 balls and 2 strikes to big dumper Cal Raleigh. We got Julio Rodriguez at second. And again, no matter what the record is, for the Angels, 49-53, even if they were above 500 or 10 games below, they always play us tough. This is not going to be an easy 4-game series. 2-2 pitch. Pitch is low and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at second and 1 out. Sarah in the building, what's good? Daniel in the building, what's good? 3-2 pitch. And that is a walk. Good fucking eyes there by big dumper Cal Raleigh. Let's fucking go. Cal Raleigh to first on a walk. Julio obviously got a single, stole second. Now we got runners at first and second for guess who? A guy that's got a lot of power and a guy that's been good since June 11th, Randy Arozarena. And lately, he's been looking like the guy that was on the Tampa Bay Rays in 2020 on that playoff push. We need consistency, and we always are going to need guys to back up Julio and Cal. And, most of the time, that next man up, might be Randy Arozarena. Sometimes Polo will be like that third best guy, in the lineup. But again, really hot at the beginning of the year, kind of cooled off. And again, right now is decently consistent. Could be a little bit better, but you could say that for everyone. First pitch from Kikuchi to Randy Arozarena. Fouls it off right down the middle, 0-1 count. And we're going to need Randy to set the tone. Hopefully he gets a home run here or an RBI single, and we can get on the board here early. Let's go, Randy. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike swinging right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 1 out. Kikuchi on the mound, Randy Arozarena in the box. Sarah with a 5er, appreciate you. We're at 10 now, 90 to go to hit the goal. Stacks, racks with a little cactus jack. Bang, bang. Let's go. Uncle in the building. What's good? Let's go, M's. 0-2 pitch. High and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Kikuchi to Arozarena. Megan in the building, what's good? Cody in the building, what's good? Captain in the building, what's good? Let's go, baby. You already know what it is. And again, the signing of Naylor, may mean that we, might not have a chance for Gino. I mean, really, it depends on, if Gino has a say in it or not. I mean, we would love for him to come home just like Damian Lillard did to the Blazers. We love him here in Seattle. And on top of that, I mean, he's been the best power hitter, not named Cal Raleigh, Aaron Judge, or Shohei Ohtani this year. Schwarber's been good and a few others, but again, he's great at defense. Obviously great on offense as well, as Raleigh steals second and Julio steals third. Man, this is going good. Let's go, baby. Let's go, M's. Naylor, baby. Let's go. But I would love to get Gino next. If we don't get O'Hearn, not going to hurt my feelings, but obviously Naylor and Gino were the top two, kind of choices, and those 2 guys were really linked to us, but they were also linked to other teams as well. But it's nice that we got one. Hopefully we can get Gino, because again, if we get Gino and a couple bullpen pieces, 2 or 3, that could be the difference between us winning the division and taking over the Astros or not, as well as making the playoffs or not, and making a deep run or not. 2-2 pitch, and Arozarena strikes out swinging. Couldn't get the RBI out of Randy here early, but hopefully he'll be able to step up later in the matchup. All right, this is a guy that obviously we know is not the greatest player, but can come up big in certain situations. Let's see if Mitch Garber can just get a quick single here and make it 1-0. Let's go, Mitch. First pitch to Mitch Garber, takes a strike looking, high and inside on the line, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes with runners at second and third and 2 outs. Definitely got to strike early here on the Angels if we can. It's going to be a 4-game set. And again, it's one of those teams that, this is our probably number 2 rival. I would probably say Astros is 1. Rangers, I feel like the rivalry is there and they're a good team, but again, we have fought with the Angels before. So again, the rivalry runs pretty deep. And again, I feel like the Angels, they give their best performance out of anybody against us. They love beating Seattle. So again, we're going to have to be, crossing our T's, dotting our I's, and hopefully we're going to be efficient here today. 0-2 pitch, fouled off, high and away. No balls and 2 strikes with runners at second and third and 2 outs. 0-0 Mariners and Angels. Kikuchi on the mound, Garver in the box. Yeah, lots of people passing away, especially if you're an 80s baby. Malcolm Jamal Warner, that played Theo Huxtable in The Cosby Show. Then we had my favorite, Ozzy Osbourne, pass away, the Prince of Darkness, rest in peace. And then this morning, Hulk Hogan, the Hulkamaniacs, NWO Hollywood Hogan, passing away due to cardiac arrest. So they usually say deaths come in 3s, sometimes in 4s, and definitely not the greatest week, especially if you end up having some kind of memories for those individuals. Top of the first inning, 0-0 Mariners and Angels. 0-2 pitch in play, and Garver unfortunately flies out to right, and that is out number 3. Hopefully we'll be able to get them to come home, but it's a good sign to get, Cal and Julio on board early, and hopefully the next time around we'll be able to knock them in. Let's go. Yeah, 292, 11 homers, 59 ribbies, obviously, which is the first with the D-backs, acquired from the Guardians in the offseason. And the D-backs acquired left-hander Brandon Garcia, who just made his MLB debut. Nothing to really worry about. He wasn't very good. And minor league lefty Ashton Izzy. So, again, we got a steal in this. And, again, I can't wait to be able to see what we get from Naylor, obviously, this season. Great batting average, good homers, good ribbies, good defense. And let me see if I can get a photo here of Naylor here momentarily. And it's not like we ended up giving up anybody that was good. We didn't give up Harry Ford. We didn't give up, a piece that was like, oh gosh, should we have done that? There is no hesitation, no worries. This guy is a stud, and it will make a big difference for us. And you can literally plug him into the lineup immediately over Donovan Solano or Luke Raley or anybody else that, could play first base. So not only do you get a good defender at first, you also get a guy that can hit singles, doubles, triples, home runs, and give you some swagger at first base. And again, we needed to be able to have, power hitting at first base and third base. First base and third base are positions where you typically get home runs and usually good defense if you have a good player. And again, we still have some holes. We don't want to see Ben Williamson or Miles Mastrobuoni go backwards in their development. But if we can get Gino to come back, we already got Naylor. Grab a couple, guys in the bullpen. And I'm not really sure if we're going to be able to bolster the depth in right field since we have, quite a few guys that we have over there. Dylan Moore, Luke Raley, Dominic Canzone. It could definitely be a little bit better there as well. First pitch from Logan Evans to Zach Neto. Takes a strike swinging low and away. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes from Evans to Neto. Let's go, Logan. 0-2 pitch, low and away with the cutter. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Evans to Neto. And comments coming in pretty quick. So again, for Sarah and Cole, if you want to type in what you guys would like for photos, let me know, and I got you. I imagine you guys already have done that, up there, but I got to try to keep up with the pace of the game and all the other comments that are coming in, as well as all the other screens that I'm following. 1-2 pitch, and Neto grounds out to JP. JP throw to first, 1 away. And JP was a little sloppy last game, had an error, and had 3 other balls other than the error go past him. A very uncharacteristic JP defensive type of game, so I expect him to be much better here in this series and today. Next up, the future Hall of Famer, DHing, doesn't really play center field that much anymore, Mike Trout. Yeah, I mean, regardless if we only have him for this year or not, as Trout has the first pitch in play and gets a double to left there on Logan Evans. Not surprised. And again, Logan isn't as good on the road that he is at home, but we have to limit the damage. Can't give up too many home runs, and he's got to give up 3 runs or less because we don't really know who we're going to have in the bullpen. It's not like we're going to have Brash, Bizzardo, Munoz every single day. Next up in the 3-hole, first baseman Nolan Shonowell. First pitch from Logan Evans to Shonowell, low and out the knees, 1-0 count. Yes, he did. All right, you want some Dale Jr., Dale Sr., and Hollywood Hogan? I got you. And, again, obviously, with Malcolm Jamal Warner, there's nothing really bad that you can ever say, about Theo Huxtable or any of the roles that he did after. Obviously with Ozzy Osbourne, nothing really you can say about that. And there's only going to be a little bit of pushback, with Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hogan, because for a lot of us, he was one of our heroes or someone that we looked up to in the 80s and 90s. First pitch, low and out the knees, 1-0 count to Nolan Shonowell. 1-0 pitch, fouled off high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Evans to Shonowell. But I think it's really because of what Hogan did after wrestling, as we know. There has been some things that were in the media that were not very good, based on, his personality and things that he said and did. So anytime you end up getting labeled as a bigot or a racist, obviously things, are not going to be on everyone's good side. And regardless of your political views, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, whether you're for Trump or for your for Trump, you're MAGA or non-MAGA, obviously we've seen him at the Republican convention and ripping his shirt off and whatnot. And for some people, they love that. And other people, not so much. So, again, I feel like with Hogan's passing with cardiac arrest, if his, nice single there by Shonowell and Trout gets in 1-0 Angels. I feel like with Hogan, if he wasn't maybe so vocal and, and not in the news for bad publicity, I think that his passing would have been with more open arms this morning. But again, if you do go on social media, you're definitely going to see comments that are positive and negative, and, completely opposite for Malcolm Jamal Warner and Ozzy Osbourne, which is pretty much 100% positive for both those individuals. So bottom of the first inning, 1-0 Angels. They capitalize on their RBI situation. Unfortunately, the Mariners could not, but we need to be able to keep Evans within 3 runs or less, or this is going to be a long day. Next up, one of the best players on the team, left fielder Taylor Ward. Let's go, Logan. You got to settle in, my guy. First pitch from Evans to Ward, takes a strike looking, right down the middle, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, high and away with the cutter. 86 miles an hour there by Logan Evans. 1 ball and 1 strike to Taylor Ward. But I feel like not everyone knows, about Hogan's past, during wrestling and obviously post wrestling. He buried a lot of guys. There was a lot of guys, that didn't really like him because he wasn't very genuine. Would say one thing and do another just so that he could rise to the top, regardless if that was in WWF with Vince McMahon or in WCW with Eric Bischoff. And So I know a lot of people, he rubbed the wrong way. Was there some good in Hogan? For sure. There absolutely was. Ric Flair had an emotional statement, obviously, this morning. And, kind of crazy that Ric Flair outlived Hulk Hogan, with all of his crazy past. But I guess that's where we're at. 2-1 pitch, high and inside. 3 balls and 1 strike with a runner at first and 1 out. Angels taking an early 1-0 lead on an RBI by Shonowell and Trout scoring. 1-0 Los Angeles. Come on, Ems. Let's go, baby. What's good, brother? I hope so, too. Three-one pitch, and Ward singles to left. Shonowell to second. Logan not looking very good, here on the road, and that's kind of been an issue for him. Just not able to figure it out, this early in his career on how to get the job done. It's almost like Jekyll and Hyde. You get one version at home, which is usually lights out, and then the version on the road, he looks like a AAA pitcher. So hopefully the offense will be able to be hot and heavy. Otherwise, it's going to be tough to be able to keep up with the Angels here. First pitch from Evans to Moncada, low and away with the sweeper, 1-0 count. That is a good question. I imagine it has to go through the physical process, and it may be a few days, before we see him and whatnot. I don't know. It could be as early as tomorrow and they put him in the lineup, or it may end up being a couple days. Again, your guess is as good as mine. I'm not in the organization. I don't have any insider ties, to the GM or the owner or the manager, so I'm not too sure. But as soon as obviously I know and everyone else will know on social media, and obviously with the lineups, when we end up doing the game, once you see his picture in the lineup, you'll know he'll be here. And we got a mound visit from Big Dumper to Logan Evans, just trying to get his confidence up, and Cal knows how to talk to each guy. He's not going to rip into each guy the same type of way. He's going to, not be too friendly, but not too firm. He knows what to say. Everyone looks up to him. Everyone respects him. He doesn't need to be angry. He doesn't need to go off. He just needs to have him settle down. 1-0 pitch. And here we go. Grounds out into the double play. Tap to second. Throw to first. Got him. And that's why you do a mound visit if you're Cal Raleigh. Great job. And again, imagine if he didn't do that, maybe that ends up turning into a home run or another big play. All right, well, we end up giving up the RBI to Shonowell and Trout scoring, but it could have been like a 3-0 inning, so I'll fucking take that. All right, let me get some photos up. Let's go, baby. Naylor to the Mariners for literally 2, I don't want to say garbage prospects, but it's not anybody that we're going to miss. It was guys, one guy just got called up from AAA, not a good player, and another guy that's only been in the farm that will never see the light of day of playing. So we did a great job. Even if it only ends up being for a rental for this year, it was a great deal. All right, let's see if we can get some photos here. You want some Dale Jr., Dale Sr., and some Hollywood Hogan. End of the first inning, 1-0 Angels. But we're on cloud 9, baby. We ended up getting one of our top 2 guys. Gino was 1, Naylor was 2. Let's go, baby. We got to be like the Intimidator. We need to grab everybody we can. Let's go. See if we can get a Dale Jr. up here too, real quick. First pitch from Kikuchi to Polo. Takes a strike looking low and away. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Takes another strike looking high and away. Behind in the count, 0-2. We got some Dale Jr. and Dale Sr. I'll get you a few more, Cole, once we end up getting into a commercial break. And I got Hollywood Hogan loading up for Sarah here as we speak. And I love me some NWO. 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and down goes Jorge Polanco. 1 away. Gotta need Polo to be consistent in this series. Next up is Donovan Solano. Let's go, Don. First pitch to Donovan Solano. Takes a strike looking high and away. 0-1 count. We got little Dale Senior, Dale Jr., little new world order. 4 life, brother. Oh, yeah. Crazy, man. My favorite faction of all time. Now, Hollywood Hogan is gone. Scott Hall is gone, one of my favorites, and we're only left with Kevin Nash and obviously a bunch of the others that were a part of the group. 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and Kikuchi is wheeling and dealing here in the top of the second inning. Back-to-back punch-outs. Solano, 2 away. And obviously Naylor will be able to be much better of a hitter and defender than Solano. And speaking of players that have been struggling for a long time, had 8 home runs early in the season, but really hasn't done anything in the last 50, 60, 70 at-bats. Right fielder Dylan Moore. We need, a better player in right field. Obviously, Dominic Canzone is the best option. Then probably Luke Raley in right, and then Dylan Moore and a few others. But we could definitely use a little bit of depth to pair up with Dom in right field. So that way we don't have to see Dylan Moore play at all. If we're really being honest. And obviously, like with Solano, sucked at the beginning of the year, but got better as the year has gone forward. But still, those are 2 guys that should be like emergency backup guys, not guys that really play. So getting Naylor, takes care of one spot. But now we still need to figure out, third base, some depth for Miles Masterboni and Ben Williamson with Gino, if we can get them. And then obviously in right field, and then a couple bullpen guys. First pitch, low and away to Dylan Moore, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike, 1 ball and 1 strike to Dylan Moore.
Nuts.
No.
1-1 pitch, and that is out number 3 for Demo. And again, I don't even know why they're playing Dylan Moore. I mean, obviously, I know why they're playing him is because when we go against a left-handed pitcher, our right-handed lineup fucking sucks ass. Like when we have to have guys like Solano and Dylan Moore in the lineup, you don't really expect anything. On top of that, Mitch Garver. So it's like you got 3 guys in the lineup, and we know that Garver and Solano can come up with big home runs and big RBIs once in a while. Dylan Moore gives you nothing. Defensively, offensively, it's just kind of a wasted position. And again, we just need better right-handed hitters. Again, we'll take righties, we'll take lefties. We need some more lefty pitchers as well. But again, this team is nowhere near, being complete. But I feel really fucking good that we ended up getting this, man. This is fucking huge. Naylor, baby. All right, let's see if I can plug in a couple more photos here real quick. See if I can find another Hollywood Hogan here. Rest in peace. Can't cover up Nash's face. There we go. When you're NWO, you're NWO for life, brother. Oh, yeah. Crazy week, man. Hopefully the deaths will stop so that way we don't have to worry about who the next celebrity or wrestler or athlete or actor or actress or singer or, And again, out of all the people that ended up passing away, I think most people thought Malcolm Jamal Warner, good person. Ozzy Osbourne, good person. Hulk Hogan, not so much, and that's why there's a lot of pushback. Did he end up being an icon and a legend and helping wrestling? Absolutely. Was his, character in the ring, similar to what he was actually in real life, as a heel? You could say that. And obviously, if you're, labeled a racist, not really a good look, And again, just because you end up, promoting your own beer and you go on WWE TV and they boo you and you think they're booing you because you were a heel the last time that they saw you, you're not very in touch with what's going on in the world. First pitch from Logan Evans to Joe Adell, takes a strike looking, low and away, 0-1 count. Yes, we'll get some Aussie as well, for sure. 0-1 pitch, high and away, 1 ball and 1 strike from Evans to Adell. 1-1 pitch, back, and all the way to the wall and caught. There we go, 1 away. And that scared me a little bit. Good out there by the no-fly zone. You always can count on Randy and Julio out there for the most part. And I can't wait for Victor Robles to join the team, even if that ends up being in September or October. Miss him. Next up, catcher, the former Atlanta Brave, Travis d'Arnaud. First pitch to d'Arnaud from Logan Evans. Fouls it off right down the middle, 0-1 count. Let's go, Logan. We need you, baby. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes and 100 on the dono train. We're at 1090 to go. Yeah, we're familiar with when he was on the Guardians and on the Diamondbacks. And, regardless if he hits into double plays or makes a few errors here and there, the one question you have to ask yourself, is he better than Donovan Solano? And everyone on planet Earth is nodding their head yes. So, again, we're happy to have him. And nice catch, obviously, by Julio all the way up there by the wall on that previous out. And, again, now we have 1 piece down. Now we need a few more. 0-2 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Evans to d'Arnaud. I mean, ultimately, it's a good player. It's one of the, top 5 or 6 guys that was going to be available. Gino obviously is the biggest name, that would help us. But it's just, Cubs, Yankees, Dodgers, they're interested. Mariners are interested. And I imagine there's another 10 or 15. Almost every team would be interested in a guy that not only can hit 30, 40, 50 home runs from third base, but is actually one of the top 10 defenders at third as well. So a complete player that we should have never let go. 2-2 pitch. In play, lined out to third, and that is 2 away. Down goes Travis d'Arnaud. Next up, a guy that was on the Giants and was a staple of their team. I thought, if we had extra money, this would be someone that could help us win, even though he's had a rough year this year, right fielder Lamont Wade Jr. And I know a lot of people were wondering, where the hell did he go? Because he hasn't really been talked about ever since he got released by the Giants, a few weeks back. And the Angels quietly swooped him up. He's having a rough, bad year this year, but overall, he's not that bad of a player. He's a crafty lefty, but we'll see what he does here today against the Mariners. First pitch to Evans, in there for a ball. Outside. 1-0 pitch, in play, and flied out to left for out number 3. We'll take that. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about Lamont going off there. Still looks a little weird there in the Angel gear. I'm so used to seeing him in Giant gear for all those years, but, it is a business. End of the second inning, 1-0 Angels. Like I mentioned yesterday, if I could listen to one person, like if I was stranded on an island and I had to listen to one, artist or band, and if it wasn't hip hop related, this would be my number one choice. And again, I used to listen to Ozzy in the car, in the truck, with my dad when we would go camping, when I was very, very young. And obviously always followed him, with the Osbournes on MTV, the show that he did with Jack after, where they did adventures together to kind of make up for time when he was touring, and which is a very good show. I think it's like on Travel Channel and whatnot. So I highly recommend if you want to kind of tap in. And I know on Tubi, they have old episodes of the Osbournes that you can watch for free. So if it is something that you want to be able to reminisce a little bit about my favorite, rock metal artist, the Prince of Darkness, you will be an icon and a legend forever. And, even though that farewell concert, again, it shows you Father Time is undefeated. There were some songs where he sounded great, but then there was others where there was a little bit of shakiness in his voice. But when you have Parkinson's or you have diseases and you get a little bit older in age, you can't expect him to sing the same way that he did in the 70s and 80s. But I'm definitely going to miss him. And, I hopefully he's in a better place now, not in pain. I know the family, Sharon and the kids, are definitely mourning the loss, just like me and everyone else on planet Earth that was a fan of his. First pitch in the top of the third from Kikuchi to Williamson. High and away, 1-0 count. One-0 pitch, takes a strike looking inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Ben Williamson. Let's go, baby. Kikuchi on the mound. Ben Williamson in the box. Let's go, Big Ben. 1-1 pitch. And that one's in play. Grounds out to second. Throw to first. 1 away. Back at the top of the order, J.P. Crawford. Drop a bunt down. Do whatever it takes, my guy. Let's go. First pitch from Kikuchi to JP, high and inside, tries to jam the hitter. Doesn't bite, 1-0 count. Probably should have been a called strike right there in the zone, but for whatever reason, doesn't get the call. Top of the third inning, MLB Network Global Broadcast. JP Crawford in the box. You say Kikuchi on the mound. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to J.P. Crawford. Let's go, J.P. We need that swagger, that aura, that vibe. We're at 30. Here we go. Let's get to 50. We're trying to get to 100 and 100. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. We have at least 60 people in the room that haven't done it. It takes 1 second, regardless if you're watching from the United States or, a country, far and beyond. We're getting views from all over the world. And I think it's universal, regardless if you speak English or not. Hitting the like button is something that everyone can do. 1-2 pitch, in play, and J.P. Crawford with a single to left. Nice job by JP. Way to bring that electricity. Finally, we needed that. Next up is Julio Rodriguez, who already is 1 for 1. Let's go, Julio. Trident's up. First pitch to Julio, fouls that one off. 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, fouls that one off again. I'm going to count 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 1 out. All right. We got 100 people in the room, 37 likes. We need to get those likes up. Let's go, baby. And we're at 10 on the dono train, 90 to go. Keep working hard on that all day, and Captain, they will come around. Top of the third inning, 1-0 Angels. We've been gaining about 5 to 15 subs daily. During the All-Star game and the Home Run Derby, it was about 30 each day. And we're definitely getting closer and closer to 21,200. We only need 71,000. No. 71 to go. 0-2 pitch. High and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Kikuchi to Julio. There we go. Now we're at 40. Let's see if we can get to 50. 1-2 pitch, fouled off, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 1 out. Top of the third inning, 1-0 Angels. And the best part of the deal of getting Naylor is that we didn't give up anybody good. We gave up one guy that was in AAA, pitched in a couple games, didn't do good, and got rid of him, Brandon Garcia, and another guy that hasn't even been called up. That's just one of the random guys in the farm that they threw in on the deal. So even if it's only a rental for Naylor for a year and we don't have him long term, it's worth it because we can go on a deep run. And if he does well, who knows? He might end up being the future first baseman of the team for years to come, which would be awesome. 1-2 pitch, fouled off, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 1 out. Top of the third inning, 1-0 Angels. One-two pitch, in play, and grounded out into a fielder's choice. JP is out at second, 2 away. Next up is big dumper Cal Raleigh. Let's go, Cal. Yeah, I don't think it's really controversial of an opinion, but Ozzy is on the same tier as Elvis and MJ, 100%. I was actually talking about that as soon as I heard that he passed away. I feel like he is the Elvis of this generation, for metal music. Elvis was groundbreaking, just like the Beatles were as a group. Michael Jackson, is the king of pop. And, you're not really seeing anybody on that level even to this day, even though you've had like Justin Bieber and a few other individuals try, but it's not going to be the same. And Ozzy definitely with his influence. And again, being able to be in the public eye with the Osbournes and that show with Jack and, being able to see what his life was like after, he was in his heyday touring was very, very cool. That we actually got to see kind of behind the scenes on how he was with family and just his regular routine on what he was like, behind the scenes of metal. 1-0 pitch, fouls that one off right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at first and 2 outs. 1-0 Los Angeles lead. 1-1 pitch from Kikuchi, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes to big dumper Cal Raleigh. Yeah. And again, complications with Parkinson's and, there was some, talk, which may or may not be true that he wanted to go, and so anytime you end up being in pain and you have Parkinson's and, everyone has a choice, to, live or not, especially if they end up having a disease or they're sick or ill and whatnot. And, regardless if he ended up, ending it or he ended up passing due to the Parkinson's. Either way, it doesn't take away anything from his legacy. And Ozzy's true farewell was that concert that he had. Raised a lot of money, but it was cool to be able to see him, one last time. 1-2 pitch, low and at the hips. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 2 outs. Top of the third inning, 1-0 Angels. Yeah, Cal's batting from the right side because we have Kikuchi, who's a left-handed pitcher. So he will always mirror and go opposite of whoever he's going against. If he goes against a righty, he'll bat lefty. If he's going against a lefty, he'll bat righty. But the thing is he's almost as good as a righty than he is lefty. So 2-2, big swing and a miss. Down goes Cal Raleigh, and that is out number 3. Let's go to the bottom of the third inning, see who's up next here for the Angels. We're going to need you, Cal. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. We started the year about with 1,000 to 1,500 regular viewers. Now we're getting up into a stratosphere, which is well over 5,000, which is awesome to be able to see us grow the way that we are. 5,200 regular viewers coming to the channel, which is awesome. And again, hopefully that'll grow and grow and grow. And on top of that, we're able to get more individuals throughout the streams as well. We've been able to get our female viewership up from 5% to 15%. And then we have, obviously, United States is typically around 70%, 72%. Dominican Republic, if you're watching from the Dominican Republic, I know you love baseball, and we've gotten that up to 10.5% of the channel views. Mexico, Venezuela, Canada, Japan, my homeland, Philippines, Nicaragua, Puerto Rico, Taiwan, New Zealand, Australia, and many, many others. So if you are watching from one of those locations, I appreciate you very, very much. Let's go, baby. Next up for the Angels in the 9-hole, third baseman in the bottom of the third, Luis Rengifo. Batting second at the top of the order, shortstop, Zach Neto, 0 for 1. And batting third, 1 for 1 with a run, DHing Mike Trout. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Judah in the building. What's good? Yeah, Cal's better from the left, but he brought up his average from the right side up like 100 points, from last year to this year. So, it's very possible, that he can homer from either side. He might be probably the best switch hitting home run hitter in the league this year. There's not very many that are on his level for sure, especially leading MLB in home runs still. 0-1 pitch in play, and Rengifo flies out to center. Julio is there, 1 away. Down goes Rengifo. Next up is Zach Neto. And one thing that, we can't take for granted is Julio's defense, which is on point, most of the time. First pitch from Logan Evans to Zach Neto. Takes a strike swinging low and away, gets him to bite. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. Four-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour by Logan Evans. 1 ball and 1 strike from Evans to Neto. 1-1 pitch, and he got hit by the pitch. Hopefully he's okay. Neto shaking it off and making his way to first. Next up is DHing Mike Trout. We're going to need a slow dribbler right up the middle to JP, and hopefully we can get a double play and get out of this inning. Yeah, a lot of those individuals, Judah, that we all enjoyed watching, in the 80s and beyond. And again, it's just kind of sad when we have these celebrity deaths that usually happen in, 3s, sometimes in 4s. And again, there's a few other names, obviously, that are not, Chuck Mangione, obviously that was, a legend and also a character in King of the Hill. He passed away as well. Not really as well known as Malcolm Jamal Warner, as Theo Huxtable, Ozzy Osbourne, Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hogan. But it's still another individual that ended up passing away recently. 2-0 pitch. Low and away. Count now is 3 balls and no strikes from Evans to Trout. There we go. We're at 50. We got half of the people in the room to hit that like button. Now we just need the other half, and we'll be at the 100 mark. Let's go, baby. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes and 100 on the dono train before the stream ends. It would be greatly appreciated. 3-0 pitch, and that is a walk. Trout to first, Neto to second, and next up, first baseman Nolan Shonowell. 1 for 1 with an RBI. First pitch from Evans to Shonowell, low and away with the changeup, 88 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Bottom of the third inning, runners at first and second with 1 out, 1-0 Los Angeles. And again, no matter what the Angels record is, they always play us tough. And I really love the series. I enjoy it just as much as the Astros and the Rangers and the Athletics. I love rivalry matchups within the division. And again, sometimes we lose, but sometimes we end up making those big wins as well. And 1-0 pitch, Shawnuel grounds out to the shortstop, and that is 2 away. Runners advance to second and third. Next up is Taylor Ward. Let's go, Logan. We need you to settle in. And again, the Angels, used to be so amazing with Ohtani and Trout in their prime. But even with Ohtani now on the Dodgers and Trout a little bit older, the Angels can still whoop the Mariners. It's not like they can't. They play us very, very well, regardless on who's playing for their team or not. It's just a deep, rich history that we have. And again, we've scrapped with this team. We've fought with this team before. But again, I always enjoy the matchups. It's one of my favorite, within the division itself. Bottom of the third, runners at second and third with 2 outs, 1-0 Angels. Taylor Ward in the box, and another mound visit by Cal Raleigh to Logan Evans. And it just seems like Cal is like, a second manager. He always knows the right time to try to settle a pitcher down, to give him words of encouragement, but also to keep the swagger and the aura, high. And again, when you have the best catcher in baseball giving you words of encouragement, you listen and you get the job done. So again, it really has helped the development of not only, Logan Evans, but also guys like George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, Brian Wu, Luis Castillo, Emerson Hancock, or anybody that gets a chance to pitch with them, including the bullpen as well. 0-1 pitch and in play. And after the mound visit, what happens? In out. Ward grounds out, throw to first, and another great visit by Cal Raleigh. And as soon as he makes the visit, what happens? Next pitch turns into an out. And again, he's done that twice. And if he didn't make those mound visits, we're probably down 3-0 or 4-0 right now. So great job there. But now we need the bats to come alive. And again, we're not the greatest right-handed hitting lineup against lefties. We definitely are, not the greatest with those individuals that are in the lineup, especially if you have Garver and fucking Solano and Dylan Moore. But we have to make the most of it and hope that at least those guys can get a hit before they get replaced later in the game, if that's what happens. All right, let's see who's up next here for the Mariners, and hopefully we get on the board. Next up for the Mariners, 0-for-1 with a K. We're going to need you today, Randy Arozarena. Batting second, 0-for-1, DHing Mitch Garver. And again, Mitch Garver should never, ever be a DH player. If you have a DH, it needs to be someone that actually can fucking hit. And we should know this because we had Edgar Martinez, which is maybe one of the best DHs of all time. This is another position that we need to upgrade and find someone that can be the DH and be it consistently moving forward. And, we've always, had those big lunky, guys, whether it be like a Mike Ford or a Carlos Santana or a Jared Vogelback. It's like we always have those kind of big tree trunk legs, and guys that are very powerful, but it either ends up being a strikeout or a home run, not a whole lot in between. And there's a reason why that we had to, choose, between one guy or another, Rowdy Tellez, or obviously Donovan Solano at first. But again, we still need to be able to have someone better than this rotation that we have at DH. So first pitch to Randy Arozarena, and he flies out to center, a little overly aggressive there. Kind of reminded me of Julio at the beginning of the year. 1 away. Next up is Mitch Garver. Let's go, Mitch. I don't even need a home run out of you. Just get on base with a single. Let's go. Yeah, Blue Jays have been the real deal for quite some time. The, emergence of George Springer, obviously not being the greatest player last year and, changing a lot of mechanics and being great this year. First pitch, and Garver grounds out to third. Throw to first, 2 away. And you obviously know Bo Bichette and Vladimir Guerrero Jr., George Springer. They got a squad. That's why when we were both good in 2022 and then both of the teams kind of fell off the next 2 years, you knew if they kept Vladdy that there was a chance that they could get good again. And obviously they have. Anytime that you can be ahead of the Yankees in the division, that really means something. First pitch, the Jorge Polanco, high and away. 1-0 count. Let's go, Polo. Kikuchi on the mound. Jorge Polanco in the box. Come on, baby. 1-0 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and no strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. We're in the top of the 4th inning, 1-0 Los Angeles. Tigers are still going to be very, very good, though. Just because they're hitting a wall, after they played the Mariners. Again, not every team is going to be sitting, 15, 20, 25 games above 500 the whole year. At some point, you're going to hit a little bit of a wall, either with injuries or just poor play, or just running into a team that's really, really hot like the Mariners did with the Brewers. Like, what are the chances of us having to go against the Yankees and then the fucking Tigers, the Astros, and then the Brewers? The schedule writers didn't do us any fucking favors. Like 4 playoff teams in a row. Give me a break, but at least we swept the Tigers and put up 35. But it seems like after we did that, the Tiger players did not play good or well in the All-Star game, and it's carrying over into the second half of the season. But I believe they will bounce back. 3-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking down the middle. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Jorge Polanco. 3-2 pitch. That one is fouled off right down the middle. Count still remains 3 balls, 2 strikes. Count is full with nobody on and 2 outs. And we need a rally with 2 outs. We're very good with 2 outs in 2025. But again, we need someone to get the party started. Now, even if it ends up being a walk. And there it is. There's the walk. Nice eyes by Polo. Next up is Donovan Solano. And you have to assume another team in the Central will be above 500 at some point. The Twins, the Royals, or the Guardians. It's wild because normally those teams are battling for the top spot and the Tigers are somewhere in the middle. But now the Tigers are really, really good. And then those other 3 teams that are typically in the playoff hunt are all under 500. But I assume one of them out of the 3, Royals, Twins, Guardians, will eventually get above 500, either playing shitty teams or getting hot. First pitch to Donovan Solano, takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. Come on, baby. We need something. 0-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Donovan Solano. Come on, Don. We need this Mariner magic right here, baby. We need this energy and aura and vibe. Let's go. 1-1 pitch, high and inside. 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour by Yusei Kikuchi. 2 balls and 1 strike with a runner at first and 2 outs. 1-0. Angels lead here in the top of the 4th. Global broadcast on MLB Network. Yeah, I feel for you with the heat wave. We got a heat wave here as well, but not as bad as you guys there in the Midwest. Ours is usually like 85 to 95, but that's still a little too warm for my liking. I don't know. Tough to say. AR, based on how the pitching has been, you would assume it's going to be easier for the Angels to get on the board with Logan Evans not being very good on the road. He's essentially a AAA pitcher, a rookie this year. He's good at home, but not good on the road. But maybe we can get something here. 2-1 pitch, and here we go. Donovan Solano. He says, I'm going to earn my paycheck. Nice job. You talk about feeling a vibe and getting an aura, and he ends up getting a nice base knock. Now we have runners at first and third with 2 outs. The only problem is we have probably the worst player on the team up next, Dylan Moore. Now we just have to pray that Dylan can do anything. It doesn't even have to be a home run. It can be a walk. You can get hit by a pitch. You can get a single. You can end up getting an RBI single. Just do something positive for the team. Come on, Demo. Right now I think Carlos Vargas is probably the worst player on the team, the one that's the most disliked. But Dylan Moore, it's not like he's got 0 home runs on the year. He had 8 early on and had 1 on the 4th of July against the Pirates when I went to that game. Saw Cal homer twice in person, Randy homer once, and somehow, some way, Dylan Moore homered. I don't know how the hell he did that, but again, not really the type of player that we need because he's so inconsistent. And now you have a mound visit. I don't know if you really need a mound visit for Dylan Moore. It's not like you're going against Julio or Cal. First pitch to Dylan Moore, low and away on the line. Could have been called a strike or ball, but they give him a ball on that curveball. I mean, best case scenario for Dylan Moore might be just getting walked. But again, if he ends up hitting a 3-run blast or a 2-run RBI double or something like that, I mean, it could happen. I mean, he's definitely fucking overdue. He's sucked in the last 60 fucking at-bats. So at some point, you got to do something, right? But I'm not sure if it'll be against Kikuchi, but we can, cross our fingers and pray. 1-0 pitch. Fouls that one off, high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike with runners at first and third and 2 outs. And this is the best chance that we've had to get a run to come in at this point in the game, besides early on when we had Julio and Cal at second and third in the first, but we weren't able to get anything met. 1-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners on the corners at first and third and 2 outs. And I think if Dylan doesn't go for the home run swing like Julio did, that we can get something, but that's kind of his problem. Chemistry, and that is out number 3. And again, with Dylan Moore, again, it's like you have to know who you are. And again, you're not a home run hitter, even though you had 8 early on. If you actually approach the at-bat as just a singles hitter, he would be better. But I feel like every swing, he's trying to be like Julio was, where you feel like you got to hit it out of the park because normally you can't do anything. And then if you do, you end up being worthwhile. But also on the flip side, if you end up swinging for home run shots every time, you're eventually just going to, fly out, or you're going to have a couple foul balls that go into home run territory, but it's foul. And then you end up getting either a grounder or a pop-up just like that. And then you end up leaving runners stranded again. So I feel like Dylan Moore shouldn't even be on the team. He shouldn't even be a backup. And I know that might be a little harsh to say, but again, he's just not a good fit with this team. Same thing with Carlos Vargas. We need to get rid of those guys and get better fucking players. Kikuchi gets out of the jam, and we're still down 1-0, but at least we've been able to get a few guys on, but eventually we need to get them to, come aboard and come home. And we're going to need a couple home runs as well, and I wouldn't assume it's going to come from Dylan Moore, so. Let's go to the bottom of the 4th. Next up, 0 for 1, third baseman, Yohan Moncada. Batting second, center fielder in the 6th hole, 0 for 1, Joe Adell. And batting third, the former Atlanta Brave, in the 7 hole, catcher 0 for 1, Travis d'Arnaud. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Let's go. Let them know, baby. I mean, even, I don't, but also too, there's going to be certain restrictions and rules. We can't just send down just anybody. It depends on, their contract and where they sit, based on the rules, with the team. So it's not like we have the ability to send down anybody on the roster. There's certain guys that are able to be sent down to AAA and others that we would have to release. And also it depends on how much we are, paying them, how much we owe them. So it's all kind of mixed into a bag, but I don't think it would hurt anybody's feelings if we sent Dylan Moore to AAA if we were allowed to, and bring up a guy like Harry Ford or Tyler Locklear. That would help us out a hell of a lot more. Even if it was just a DH guy or a guy that would play occasionally, but it is what it is, I guess. First pitch from Evans to Moncada, takes a strike looking high and away, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and away, 1 ball and 1 strike to Yohan Moncada. 1-1 pitch, popped up, back, and caught in play. Julio Rodriguez there, no fly zone. There we go, baby. 1 away. Next up is center fielder Joe Adell. Bottom of the 4th inning, 1-0 Angels. First pitch from Logan Evans to Joe Adell. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees with the changeup. 87 miles an hour by Logan Evans to Joe Adell. 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody on and 1 out. Bottom of the 4th inning, 1-0 Angels. And again, when we don't hit home runs, we typically don't win. So even if it ends up being like a solo dinger, 1 or 2 of those, that might be enough, for us to get the dub. Who knows what this final score will be? Will it be 2-1, 3-2, or will we have shitty bullpen pitching by both teams and it ends up being like a 5-4 final? I mean, it could go really either way. And I'm very curious to see where we go from here. But this is actually one of the better starts on the road for Evans. He's only given up a run, but again, he's not done yet. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and a nice punch out there on Joe Adell. My boy, Logan Evans. There you go. And again, if it wasn't Cal Raleigh, behind the plate, being able to mentor him and coach him up, and also having those 2 mound visits that led to 2 outs 1 pitch later, the game could be over essentially, 4-0 or 5-0 at this point. So again, we have to be able to get some run support for Logan. He normally sucks on the road. If he's only given up 1 and he might only have 2 more innings to go, the magic number is for him 3 runs or less given up, and he's at 1. So far so good, but we need 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits, and we're nowhere near that at this point. First pitch to d'Arnaud, big swing and a miss right down the middle from Logan Evans. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, fouled off, high and away. No balls and 2 strikes to Travis d'Arnaud. Let's go, Logan. Wheel and deal, baby. Give me that electricity. Don't give up those big home runs. Don't give up those big RBIs. Keep us within the game. 61 likes. All right, baby. 39 more to hit the goal. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes and 100 on the Dono train. 61 likes, 39 more to go, and we're at 10 on the Dono train, 90 to go. 0-2 pitch, low and away with the sinker, 94 miles an hour by Logan Evans. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Travis d'Arnaud. Yeah, only active game. Obviously, there was a small slate today, Judah, especially for people that were looking for parlays or for bets. Only, I think, 5 games on the slate. So definitely a slower day for baseball, and it'll ramp up, obviously, starting tomorrow. And this will be a 4-game set with the Angels, then a 3-game set with the Athletics, and then a 3 or 4-game set against the Rangers. I haven't looked that far ahead. So we're playing everyone in the division, so it's not going to be easy. And this little stretch run against the Angels, the Athletics and Rangers could really determine a lot, at the end of the year. 2-2 pitch, low and away. Count now is 3 balls, 2 strikes to Travis d'Arnaud. 3-2 pitch, and outside, and that's a walk. d'Arnaud to first. Next up, the former San Francisco Giant, right fielder, 0-for-1, Lamont Wade Jr. Yeah, things have turned around for the better for your Red Sox. After, a few weeks back, things were not good, and you were kind of towards the bottom of the division, and you guys got hot at the right time. So good to be able to see. Now you just have to pray that they don't trade away Jarren Duran. His name is up there, with guys like Eugenio Suarez and Naylor, as options that they may let go. And for your sake, I hope he stays on the Red Sox, but we will have to monitor closely. 1-0 pitch. Low and at the knees. Should have been called strike, but called ball. Bad call by that ump. 2 balls and no strike. Should be 1 ball and 1 strike here to Lamont Wade Jr. Yeah, and even super teams go on slumps, right? It's not like you're going to see the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Padres always, kicking everyone's ass. Even the Tigers have hit a wall, and again, it's like you got the Astros and Mariners, right? You got the Tigers, you got the Blue Jays and the Yankees, those 5 teams in the American League. And then you got the Mets and the Phillies and the National League, the Cubs and the Brewers, and even with the Cardinals and Reds, slightly over 500. And then obviously 3 teams in the West in the National League with the Dodgers, Padres, and the Giants. So a little bit more depth in the National League as far as good teams. They're closer to 10 rather than the maybe 5 or 6 in the American. But we'll see where it goes as the season continues. 3-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle with the cutter. 86 miles an hour by Logan Evans. Count now is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, runner at first with 2 outs, bottom of the 4th, MLB Network Global Broadcast. Angels up by 1 with an RBI by Shawnuel early on. We just need to be able to get that home run or RBI to match the tone and set the tone here. Three-two pitch, fouled off, low and inside with that sinker. Count still full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Lamont Wade Jr. Let's go, Logan. Keep wheeling and dealing. Yeah, well, you already know the answer to that, Judah. Not a fan. It's only someone that's about bets. It's very clear. See, exactly. Yeah, but you're not a Mariner fan. You might be a fan of baseball, but you're not a Mariner fan. Come on, my guy. And Lamont Wade Jr. strikes out looking. End of the 4th inning, 1-0 Angels.
Nuts. It's nuts.
I'm loving the Naylor pick, especially when we didn't give up anything. You know, again, when you end up, giving up a guy that just got called up, and Brandon Garcia, lefty, wasn't very good. Got a couple of chances to pitch, wasn't good. AAA pitcher that, got a few opportunities. And then another guy that's been in the farm, that's just a guy that they threw in on the deal that hasn't even been called up yet. So we essentially won the deal, even if it's only for a 1-year rental. Obviously, we know that we had Rowdy Tellez at first, but again, defense wasn't very good, and he was very streaky. It was either home run or nothing, pop up, ground out. And so they went with Solano. Solano sucked at the beginning of the year, and then he got better as the year went on, but he's nowhere near, the Ty France or that type of player that we need with some power at first and third. We had Ty France and Eugenio Suarez. Now both of those players have moved on, to the Twins and the Diamondbacks, but now we bring in Naylor, who was on obviously, the Guardians and the Diamondbacks. And hopefully we can get his teammate, Eugenio Suarez, back. So that way we get new guys at first and third. Both of those guys have power. They're good at defense. They have good morale. They're good team players. And hopefully we can get Gino. But if not, at least we got one of the top 2 guys that we had our eyes on. And we still need some depth in right field for Dominic Canzone, as well as 2, 3, or 4 bullpen guys to give us a little bit more depth, so we don't have to fucking see Vargas, Thornton, Snyder, Legomina, Spire, guys that are not really trustworthy. We like Brash. We like Bizzardo. We like Andres Munoz, Gabe Spire most of the time. But for a lot of those others, they lose us games. And again, it's like every bullpen sucks, overall. Like there's going to be some teams that have amazing closers like us, right? And many other teams that have a top 10 or a top 15 closer. But how many teams actually have good pitchers in the pen outside of their closer? Not a lot. They might have one guy out of like 8 or maybe 2. Luckily with the Mariners, we have a couple, like 2 or 3. And then we got another 5, 6, or 7 that, once in a while do good. But most of the time we're like, kind of, cringing a little bit and, hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. But we'll see where it goes. But I love the Naylor addition. And again, we've already had our eyes on him since, a few months back, and he'll give us some power in the bat. He can hit, close to 300. He's got good defense, and he gives us that swagger that we need at first base. Much better of a player than Donovan Solano. All right, let's go to the top of the 5th inning, and let's get on the fucking board. What do you say? Next up, 0 for 1, Ben Williamson. First pitch from Kikuchi to Ben Williamson, high and away with a curveball, 77 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Let's go, Big Ben. I need that intensity. I need that electricity. Let's go. One-0 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Kikuchi to Williamson. 2-0 pitch. Low and away. Count now is 3 balls and no strikes to Big Ben Williamson. Hopefully we can end up getting a walk or a single out of this. 3-0 pitch. Takes the strike looking low and at the knees with the slider. 3 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and no outs. We're in the top of the 5th. It's a pitcher's duel, so to speak. I don't think we really anticipated it being this low scoring. But again, the Mariners have been a little roughed up lately. You know, it hasn't been easy for us. You know, we went to the Bronx and got swept. And then we ended up going to Detroit before the All-Star break and won 3 in a row. Swept the Tigers, one of the best teams in baseball at that point. Scored 35 runs in 3 games. But then having to, you know, go after the break and, you know, play the Astros and then obviously the Brew Crew, you know, being the hottest team in baseball, not ideal. And slow dribbler, throw to first, 1 away. Down goes Big Ben. Next up is J.P. Crawford. Drop the bunt, do something. Come on, J.P. JP is due for a home run. Maybe we can get something special here from JP Crawford. Let's go. Let's go, JP. One pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike from Kikuchi to JP. Come on, JP. Two 2-1 pitch in play. Grounds out to second. Throw to first. 2 away. All right, Julio. You had a pretty good game yesterday, but again, we didn't end up getting the dub. We need a tridents up. We need a solo dinger out of Julio or Cal or both. Come on now. Tridents up. Let's go, J-Rod. First pitch, right down the middle, fouled off with the changeup. 84 miles an hour by Yusei Kikuchi. 0-1 count. Get us on the board, Julio. Let's go. Got the nice Portland Northwest patch on there. You know, probably won't be the last Cal Raleigh jersey I have, but, you know, jerseys are fucking expensive. You know, it's like we've seen the price of jerseys go up quite a bit, you know, regardless on, you know, screen print or shit through Fanatics. You know, and Fanatics has kind of ruined a lot of jerseys in sports, especially with like NHL jerseys and others with baseball and whatnot. But you know, whether you have a stitch jersey or a screen print jersey, you have to be very selective on where you buy your jerseys from. You know, again, you know, there's always going to be a lot of, you know, China knockoffs on eBay and whatnot. But, you know, if you can find you know, going through direct, it will be the way. Here we go. 1-2 pitch. Back. Gone. Julio Rodriguez with the home run. I told you. Here we go. You ask for a home run, you get a home run. My guy, Julio Rodriguez, homers to right, 377 feet. Yusei Kikuchi, who? Bring it up. Tridents up. 1-1 tie. Let's fucking go. Way to bring the electricity, Julio. My guy. Let's go, baby. That's exactly what we needed. Julio. First pitch to Cal Raleigh, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. Now let's see if we can get Cal the homer again. And if we can get Cal to homer, then we can have a 2-1 lead. Let's go. We're going to need our studs to step up. Great job. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike swinging, high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to big dumper Cal Raleigh. Let's go, Cal. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike to big dumper Cal Raleigh. Let's go, Cal. That's home run number 40, baby. Pretty soon for Cal if we can get it. Home run number 39. Home run number 40, hopefully at this at-bat. Sometimes you got to talk it into existence, and you just have to know the pitcher. And, a lot of times when Julio plays well, no one else does, So again, if he's been starting to kind of turn the corner a little bit and he's been able to have a game where he goes like 3 for 4 and everyone else doesn't do a whole lot, you got to take advantage. 3-1 pitch. And here we go. Raleigh doesn't hit home run number 40, but he does get on base and we take that all day. Nice job, Cal. We can go on a 2-out rally with the best of them. Now, next up, Randy Arozarena. Now, can we get Randy to join the home run party and hit a 2-run blast so we can go up 3-1? Let's go, baby. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Come on, Randy. Let's go, baby. Yeah, and again, my ESP will be pretty good. I'll usually have like 2 to 4 ESP moments, a game. There's going to be some games where there'll be more, predictions that come true than others and whatnot. But, sometimes you just have to pay attention to the pitches that are being thrown, body language, and also how the player has been playing lately. And for all the criticism that Julio had at the beginning of the year, he had a great May, terrible June, and in July, still not up to our standard, but defensively has been pretty fucking solid. And again, has started to get into a little bit better of a rhythm. And typically, Julio as a player after the All-Star break is a 300 hitter. If you go and look at his stats from 2022, 2023, 2024, and then now in his 4th year in 2025. So again, if he plays like he did in those first 3 years after the break, we should see the good Julio Rodriguez like we did here a few minutes ago, hitting that solo dinger to tie the game up. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. First pitch to Randy Arozarena, low and away with the curveball, 1-0 count. Yeah, well, if Gino comes back to the team, he's starting. Just like Naylor is starting immediately over Solano, no question. You're not going to bring in Naylor and have him sit on the bench. I mean, the only other spot that you would see Naylor other than first is DH, and that would actually be another spot that we could have that would be good. If they want to, have Solano in the lineup for whatever reason, but obviously having a Naylor over like a Mitch Garver at DH is much better. But obviously to get the most out of Naylor, we want him to play defense too. So 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike from Kikuchi to Randy Arozarena. Come on, Randy. I mean, we got 3 guys that we feel that can homer pretty much any given day, right? Julio, Cal, and Randy Arozarena. And then for the others, it's going to be once in a while, whether it be Mitch Garver, Donovan Solano, Jorge Polanco, Dominic Canzone. And then obviously we don't expect anything out of Dylan Moore. He sucks. And then Ben Williamson and Cole Young are not home run hitters. They're singles hitters like JP Crawford. But, at some point you would assume, those guys are going to homer again as well. 2-1 pitch, high and away. 3 balls and 1 strike with a runner at first, Cal Raleigh with 2 outs. We've tied the game up at 1, and let's see if we can take the lead. Let's go. Starting to wear down Kikuchi a little bit, and that's exactly why, Julio is a good part of this team. Lots of people love to, criticize and, get on him. And again, he's never going to be, good for 6 months in a row. That's just not who he is. 3-1 pitch. Here we go. All the way back. I called it, baby. Let's go. 3-1 Mariners. ESP, I'm 2 for 2. Let's go. Randy home run, you get it. 3-1 Mariners. I tell you, Julio's going to homer with a photo. He does it as well. And just like that, my ESP is flowing. 3-1 Mariners. Let's fucking go, baby. Woo! Boom. Let's go, baby. I'm telling y'all, and even with my ESP, you have to realize I don't bet. You know, I might be the guy that, you know, knows more than most, but even I don't bet. And again, nice to be able to see my predictions come true. Predicted the Julio home run. We got it. And then the 2-run blast by Randy Arozarena. Let's go, baby. Hell yeah. I mean, it would have been great if we would have got Cal the homer too, so we can get home run number 40, but we still got time. You know, we still got 4 more innings after this. We still might get the Cal homer before the game is up. Let's go. Hell yeah, baby. 0-1 pitch. Low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kikuchi to Garver. Let's go. Top of the 5th inning, 3-1 Mariners. And no one, you know, and again, there's a lot of people that end up doing baseball streams, but I don't think that they're going to be as correct as often as we are here. But again, I do a lot of research, a lot of reading, a lot of film study, you know, follow all the teams, you know, from top to bottom, you know, go on all the different Mariners PR and all the other things, you know, and a lot of times you have to just be able to look at body language, also look at the pitches that are being thrown, and also vibe on how the players have been playing lately. And it's just nice when you can come up with a prediction that comes true, let alone another one in the same inning with Julio and Randy both homering. Let's go. 1-2 pitch. And look at this. Even Mitch Garver getting in on the action with a fucking double. Are you kidding me? Let's go. I might be the Nostradamus of fucking the Seattle Mariners and MLB, baby. Nice job by Mitch Garver. You know, a guy that you don't expect him to do anything. So if he gets a single or a double, even if it's just 1 hit in the game, it's a win. Let's go. Next up, in the 6th hole, second baseman Jorge Polanco. Let's go, Polo. Let's keep this rally going. And again, we're doing all of this with 2 outs. And again, if this was the Mariners from a couple years ago, there's no way in hell this shit happens. You know, we were hitting 180 to 220 as a team. Now we're hitting about 240 to 250 as a team. And Kikuchi's day looks like is going to be done. Nice job. You know, when shit is going bad and they're having a meltdown when Mitch Garver gets a fucking double, you know, after, you know, a 2-run blast by Randy, a single by Cal, and then a solo dinger by Julio. Everything going. Trident's up. Let's go. And it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Let's go, baby. And you knew at some point someone was going to have a meltdown. Kikuchi, Evans, or the bullpen. And even though we're up 3-1, that doesn't mean that we won. Remember, if they bring in Carlos Vargas, we can see that 3-1 lead evaporate in like 2 minutes. And we've seen it before. You know, when we've been up 3-1, you bring in a shitty guy like Vargas, and then all of a sudden, 5 minutes later, you look up at the scoreboard, up 3-1, and then you're down 4-3, and you said, how the fuck did we get here? And you got there because Vargas stinks. So hopefully we don't see him today, but you know, again, we definitely need to start off our good guys here in game number 1. So hopefully it'll be Brash or Bizzardo to start it off whenever that may be. But great job by Julio Rodriguez. Sometimes you just got to call it, you know, and again, sometimes you got to speak it into existence. And again, the photos will do that for us as well. We got a homer here. Cal got a single, and then we got the 2-run blast out of Randy. Let's go. Top of the 5th, 3-1 Seattle. Fuck yeah. And let's see who they're bringing in. I think they're bringing in Brogdon. Yep, they're bringing in Brogdon. ERA of 4.50, so we should be okay here. All right, Connor Brogdon coming in. And Connor is a former Philly, if that name seems familiar for anyone, if you're a National League fan. And 0-1 pitch, in play, popped up, and Brogdon does his job. Polo flies out, and that is out number 3. So we were hoping that we could get that, rally to continue, but at least we got Kikuchi out of the game. Brogdon does his job, but again, great job by Julio Rodriguez. Has really started to turn the corner, and awesome job by Randy to hit that 2-run blast after Cal got the single. And now we're in a great position to win this game and compete with a 3-1 lead. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Let's look at Kikuchi's final line, since we'll be going over Evan's final line at some point. 4.2 innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks, 96 pitches, 61 strikes, 3.23 ERA. Kikuchi was awesome just until that inning. You know, he didn't really give up a whole lot, but then we got on a nice little rally there. And sometimes when you talk shit into existence, good shit happens. And let's take a look at Logan Evans. He's still in the game. 4 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 2 Ks, 60 pitches, 34 strikes, 3.70 ERA. Not the greatest stat line, but the main thing is he hasn't had a terrible inning. And again, Logan has not been good on the road. He hasn't even won a game on the road yet in his career. So if we can get a few more runs and he can continue to pitch a few more innings, we might be able to get him the, first win on the road for his career here on the Seattle Mariners. Next up for the Angels, first pitch for Luis Rengifo, takes a strike looking, high and away, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, and Rengifo grounds out to second, throw to first, and a nice out there by the Mariners, 1 away. Nice job, Logan. Next up for the Angels shortstop, Zach Neto. Let's fucking go, baby. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes and 100 on the Dono train before the stream ends. We're at 10 on the Dono train, 90 to go. We're at 88. We only need 12 more likes to hit the goal. And we have at least 50 in the room that haven't hit this like button yet. So 11 more out of the 50, and we'll be there. Let's go. First pitch from Evans to Neto. Takes a strike looking low and inside. Should have been called ball, but called strike. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, fouled off, low and away. No balls and 2 strikes to Zach Neto, who is 0 for 1. Always an exciting series when we play, the Angels. Sometimes it's going to go in our favor, and other times it's going to be in the Angels' favor. But again, it's not over till it's over, and that's what makes this series exciting, even when it looks a little bleak or it doesn't look like the offense is going to ramp up. And all it takes is just one rally in an inning with a few hits or a few homers, and you're in business. 0-2 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Zach Neto. 1-2 pitch, low and away with the changeup. 2 balls, 2 strikes from Evans to Neto. Let's go, baby. Great comeback by the Mariners. Let's go. 2-2 pitch, in play, and grounds out to the pitcher, flip to first, 2 away. Next up, 1 for 1 with a run and a base on ball, DHing Mike Trout. Evans on the mound, Trout in the box. First pitch, right down the middle from Evans to Trout. Big swing and a miss. High and in the zone, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Mike Trout. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike looking high and inside with a sweeper by Logan Evans. 84 miles an hour there. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Evans to Trout. We're in the bottom of the 5th with a 3-1 Mariner lead with a solo dinger by Julio Rodriguez, a single by Cal, and a 2-run blast by Randy Arozarena. And we're sitting at a 3-1 lead after being down 1-0 for 5 innings. 1-2 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Evans to Trout. 1-2 pitch, high and inside, tried to jam the hitter, but Trout does not bite. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Mariners with a 3-1 lead. 2-2 pitch, high and inside. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. 3-1 Mariner lead. Let's go. I mean, it really depends if Gino has a say in it or not. You know, because again, if he has a choice to be able to go back to the Mariners or go to the Cubs, Yankees, or the Dodgers, I'm not sure if the Mariners are going to be his first choice unless he really wants to come home. You know, like Damian Lillard from going to the Bucks for a couple years for a rental and then finishing his career off with the Portland Trailblazers, even though he won't play this year. But I would love to have Gino come home, let me tell you. And that is a walk. Mike Trout to first. Next up, in the 3-hole, 1 for 2 with an RBI, Nolan Schanuel. Come on, Logan. Finish strong, baby. Again, we want to get you your first win on the road. You know, you haven't been good. It's like you got 3 wins at home. You got 3 losses on the road. Let's get it done. Jason in the building. What's good? I mean, he does have a strong relationship with a lot of the players still, you know, with like Cal and Julio. So it's like, you know, again, it just really depends, you know, because obviously going to the Mariners, you know, that's not going to be the best chance to make a World Series. Obviously going to like the Dodgers, Yankees, Cubs, you probably would have a better chance with those other 3 teams, but it depends on the compensation that they get in return. So not sure if the Mariners are going to be able to match, compensation, you know, because again, they're going to try to get as much as they can. We're not going to be able to get Gino for what we got Naylor for. For Naylor, we gave up like 2 shitty players, one guy that hasn't even been in MLB and another guy that just got called up that got rocked, twice, that's just a farm guy. So even if it's a 1-year rental, but we should have never let Gino go, to begin with. So especially being a top 10, third baseman, hitting and defensive, player, an all-around guy. That was one of the dumbest things the organization has done. Even my pup believes it. She's walking in here now. 1-1 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike with a runner at first, Mike Trout with 2 outs. Mariners hanging on to a 3-1 lead with homers by Julio Rodriguez and Randy Arozarena, thank God, because when the Mariners don't homer, we don't win, period. So you have to have at least 1 homer, even if it's just a solo dinger. But usually when we get 1, it leads to 2 and maybe even a 3rd or 4th homer before this game is up. 2-1 pitch, takes a strike looking high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Evans to Schanuel. Two pitch and takes strike 3 looking. Bam, baby. Let's go. My boy. Pitching good on the road for the very first time. And you knew at some point he was going to find a rhythm. And it's not over yet, but he's getting close now. He's got 1 more inning to go. Let's look at his pitch count. Where are you at right now? You went longer than Kikuchi, so congratulations. 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, which is, a little bit too many walks, but it hasn't hurt us yet. 3 Ks, 79 pitches, 45 strikes. So he definitely can go 1 more inning. I'm not sure if they'll have him pitch 7 innings. Based on his pitch count, he's at 79, but definitely can go 1 more inning. And then that probably will be it. And again, 3 hits, 3 Ks, 3 walks, and we have a 3-1 lead. I don't know what about the magic number 3, but we'll take it. And now Quijada is coming in for Brogdon for the Angels, and hopefully he has a meltdown as well. Next up for the Mariners in the top of the 6th, Donovan Solano. Batting 2nd, right fielder Dylan Moore. And batting 3rd, third baseman Ben Williamson. But hopefully they replace Dylan Moore for a pinch hitter, like Dominic Canzone. Obviously having Dylan Moore in the box is a wasted at-bat. Appreciate that, Jason. Natman in the building, what's good? all the beats are through my friend Brooks Beats. He's a up and coming beat artist, and producer, here in Oregon in the Pacific Northwest. And, anytime I can help my friends try to be able to, gain a little bit of ground in their dreams. There's not a lot of people nowadays that have dreams and goals, and let alone, really work on them. People will have dreams and have goals, but a lot of people don't act on them due to fear of failure. But again, you have to put in the work and you have to believe in yourself. You also have to have talent. There's no doubt about that. You have to have talent, but really, for dreams and goals to come true, it's that perseverance and that's that grind and that determination to keep going no matter what anyone says. And if you believe in yourself and you're consistent and you work hard, you can make your dreams come true. And out of all my friends in my friend group, even though some of these individuals I don't hang out with really that much anymore, since I spend all my time with Paisley and you guys, Brooks is definitely the most talented friend that I have. And I kind of figured between me and him, we would be the ones that could make it full time, doing our dream. And obviously being a singer, rapper, or a beat maker is extremely hard. There's no doubt about that. But again, you have to realize if you end up making beats, it doesn't have to go to just a rapper. It could end up being, for an R&B, a reggae artist. It could be in a commercial, a movie. It could be in a short film. There's a lot of ways that you can get your beats or your music seen by people, rather than just trying to get your beat, played by like J. Cole or Drake or someone of that nature. It doesn't have to be that to become famous. And, I'm going to do whatever I can to be able to help my friend make his dreams come true as well. First pitch from Quijada to Donovan Solano, high and inside, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, high and inside, almost in the same spot with that four-seam fastball. Hopefully Quijada is going to end up having a meltdown here. 2 balls and no strikes to Donovan Solano. 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking there on the line. 2 balls and 1 strike from Quijada to Solano. Come on, baby. 2-1 pitch, fouls that one off, low and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Quijada to Solano. Come on, baby, let's go. And obviously, if you haven't heard the news, Naylor is a Seattle Mariner. Let's go. Now we just need Gino and then 2 or 3 relievers, and we're in business. Top of the 6th inning, 3-1 Mariners. 2-2 pitch, high and away. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Donovan Solano. And again, I've had to pivot many, many times. I started off doing the channel with a partner, and we did reaction videos for like football, NFL, college football, rugby, soccer. And then after he ended up quitting, I had to reinvent myself, do live play-by-play and reactions. And then, started doing, basketball, baseball, football, hockey, NASCAR, WWE. And now it's pretty much anything that is sport or wrestling related we do here. And down goes Solano on strikes, 1 away. But again, you have to be able to pivot, and sometimes you have to be able to adjust on the fly. Just because you were comfortable doing one thing doesn't mean that that's going to be the thing that gets you to where you want to go. So, and plus, like with a lot of reaction videos, that's kind of a old thing. Do people still watch them? Yeah, but they're not as big as they were in 2017 to 2020. First pitch from Quijada to Demo. 4-seam fastball low and at the knees, 1-0 count. And I still will, do a little, of the NFL, reaction videos, depending on the views that I get, if it's worth my time and whatnot. But usually I'll try to do them for the first couple months of the season. And if I still feel that people are appreciating my hard work, I'll continue doing them. If not, then I'll just do, the live play-by-play. So 1-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Quijada to Demo. I'm not sure if it's really sad, my guy. I mean, we're not talking about, someone like Malcolm Jamal Warner who played Theo Huxtable, or someone like Ozzy Osbourne, where no one can say anything bad about someone like that. But, for Hulk Hogan and Hollywood Hogan, including myself, I have action figures. I loved him as a kid, but sometimes you realize when you grow up and, when they're done with wrestling, or you find out who they really are as a person in real life after wrestling, you start to realize that maybe this guy that I worshiped and really loved when I was a kid might not be the best person, and again, there's definitely going to be some pushback. Rest in peace, obviously to anyone that has passed, but, anyone that gets labeled as a bigot or a racist, not good, and again, those are things that aren't debatable. Those are things that are facts. And Demo actually gets a walk. We'll take that, but I feel like more people will probably be missing Malcolm Jamal Warner and Ozzy Osbourne for sure. Now, did Hulk Hogan change the business? With obviously Vince McMahon giving him the push, just like he gave with John Cena? Of course, if he didn't have Vince, we wouldn't even be talking about Hulk Hogan today, but he changed wrestling, but again, he definitely buried a lot of people, was known as a kind of a narcissist and a liar, definitely buried a lot of other wrestlers so he could get to the top, wasn't really true to his word. And, regardless of his stance with Trump and, and all that, some people are going to love that. Some people aren't, but again, being a racist isn't going to fly no matter if you're famous or not. And that's facts. 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees, 2 balls and no strikes with a runner at first, 3-1 Mariner lead. And again, no one will ever take away what he brought to wrestling for kids. And, again, going from Hulk Hogan to Hollywood Hogan, that was the biggest heel turn of all time. It wasn't John Cena and what we've seen in 2025. I mean, that definitely rocked wrestling for the better. And, from 96 to 99, that was the best wrestling ever was and ever will be. With WWF, with, obviously DX, WCW with NWO, and ECW with RVD and Sabu. So, again, I love, what he was able to bring as a wrestler, but, the last 10 or 20 years out of wrestling, man, a lot of negative publicity to say the least. 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking low and at the knees, 2 balls and 1 strike with a runner at first and 1 out, 3-1 Mariner lead. There we go. Great job all day. Great job, Captain. And it's not like, I don't want to, it's not like I want to, speak, on a negative light for someone that has passed. That's obviously not, when someone is gone, they're gone, right? But also don't want to cover up the fact of certain things that they did or did not do. 2-1 pitch in play. And Williamson. There we go, baby. Nice little base knock there and a little fumbling the bag there by the Angel defense. We'll take that. Now we got runners at first and third with 1 out with J.P. Crawford. First pitch, high and away from Quijada to JP, 1-0 count. Great hustle. Yeah, I think Evans has a chance, to go one more, but we'll have to look at his pitch count to see how quickly he'll be able to get out of the 3 batters. I mean, if he pitches only like 9 to 12 pitches, he might go 7. But if it ends up being like, over 12, which is realistic, then that might be the, last inning that we see him. Yeah, he did try to bury the Undertaker and refused to lose to a lot of people and had creative control in WCW, which was not good by Bischoff and, the other people with Turner, running the show. And again, you never give a wrestler creative control on when you can win and when you can lose. But, again, do I still have figures in my room right now of Hulk Hogan when I was, 7, 8 years old on my windowsill with others that I had, Yeah. Do I have a Hollywood Hogan figure here in my room? With Nash and Hall? Yeah. I still have them. But again, it's like sometimes you find out that maybe your heroes aren't maybe the greatest people outside of wrestling. There's a few others too that maybe have been a little bit, suspect, so to speak, like Kane, another individual. I think a lot of us liked him when he wrestled, but if you actually listen to a lot of the things and, that he's said and done, not the greatest human being on that end either. 3-1 pitch. That one's fouled off. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and third and 1 out. Top of the 6th inning, MLB Network Global Broadcast. Mariners up 3-1 with homers by Julio Rodriguez and Randy Arozarena. 3-2 pitch, fouled off. Come on, JP, keep grinding, baby. Yeah, and we're not even talking about the political views. I mean, regardless if he did the Republican convention and ripped his shirt off and was promoting the beer, of course, some people are going to love him for that, but others are going to frown upon that. But really, it's not him being linked to Trump, why people hate him. That might be a small percentage, but most of it is 99% of being a bigot and being racist, and not only to people that were in the back, but to other wrestlers and other people outside of wrestling. So, and that's documented. It's not just made up or a rumor. It's fact. There's video of him, speaking in a negative light towards, people that are not Caucasian and whatnot. So, which is kind of sad. 3-2 pitch. And down goes JP on strikes, 2 away. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. I think the main thing that surprised me is that how the hell did Ric Flair, with all the drinking and partying and all the crazy procedures and medical problems, right? How the hell did Ric Flair last longer than Hulk Hogan? That's just a shocking thing. First pitch from Quijada to Julio, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, fouled off, low and away. No balls and 2 strikes with runners at second and third and 2 outs. 3-1 Seattle lead. Oh-2 pitch, fouled off. No balls and 2 strikes with runners at second and third and 2 outs. Yeah, but the thing is, me being multiracial myself, it's like, the sexism and racism is never going to end. So that's not something that we just push under the rug, just because you start to see things that people are doing, and just acting like it's not happening or it's not a big deal. Some things need to be said, regardless if your position is high or not. When someone is a good person, you'll know it. When someone isn't, it needs to be said. You just can't push it under the rug because they were a famous wrestler and oh, they were famous. It's okay for them to be racist because they're famous. No, it's not okay. It's never okay. 1-2 pitch. That one's fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at second and third and 2 outs. Yeah, it's just kind of how the world is right now, Things are definitely not going to ever change. And down goes Julio on strikes for out number 3. All right, baby. Seattle up 3-1. We wanted to add a little bit on, but we already had a monster inning with Julio and Randy homering. Let's go to the bottom of the 6th and see if Logan Evans can finish strong here with his start. This could potentially be his first win on the road in his career. Next up, 1 for 2, left fielder Taylor Ward. Batting second, 0 for 2, third baseman Yoan Moncada. And batting third, center fielder Joe Adele, 0 for 2 with a K. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Yeah, so I actually, there's quite a bit. So, I'm European, I'm Czechoslovakian, and, for part of it, European, and then on top of that, being Japanese. So there's a little bit of everything. So like on my mom's side, obviously being Asian, and then on my dad's side, Czechoslovakian and European. So again, I feel that no matter what you are, black, white, Asian, Latino, it doesn't matter. Racism is going to exist, and everyone has had it, regardless if you're black, white, Asian, Mexican, or anything above and beyond that. And again, it's kind of sad how some people accept certain things and others do not. But, I feel everyone has had, sexism or racism at some point in their life and whatnot. But, all we can do is, try to be better, if you end up making a mistake. And that's kind of the thing. Some people realize that they were wrong, and others, have no idea. And they're just living in their own world, thinking that no matter what they do, they have no consequences with their actions or their words. That's facts. All right, let's go to here, the bottom of the 6th, 3-1, Mariner lead. But I'll tell you what, I'll be missing this guy right here a lot more than Hulk Hogan. I really appreciated what Hulk brought me as a child, giving me that love for wrestling, but it'll never be as close as what this individual gave me and many, many others. The Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah, but also depends on, how wild of a lifestyle they have outside of wrestling. Are they drinking heavy every day? Are they partying and doing other things, and a lot of times that'll catch up to you. First pitch. Oh, they got Bizzardo in the game, so I guess Logan Evans is done. So Logan Evans ended up pitching a magnificent start, and we got Bizzardo in, and so at least we're going with a player that we have confidence in. Let's go, Edward. First pitch from Bizzardo to Ward. Takes a strike looking on the line. 0-1 count. Fouls off the second pitch. Behind in the count now, 0-2. Let's go, Bizzardo. 0-2 pitch. And got him to strike out looking. Here we go. Great job by Edward Bizzardo, who probably is our most consistent player in the pen. Brash probably has more top-end talent, but has been a little off within the last couple starts, like Munoz as well. But this has been the most consistent piece from the beginning of the year till now. And it's kind of funny because he used to be one of the worst in the pen last year with Taylor Saucedo, but he's worked really hard. Up to a couple weeks ago, he had the top 3 innings pitched as far as a bullpen guy in the American League. And he's been money, even better than Munoz and Brash at times, as well as Spire. And Spire used to be the second best behind Brash, but no longer. Now Bizzardo is, right there with Brash as, 2 of the best. If we could have a few more Bizzardos and a few more Brashes, we would be, obviously in a good position, obviously after the trade deadline. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike swinging right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes from Bizzardo to Yohan Moncada. 0-2 pitch, high and away by Bizzardo. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Yohan Moncada. Come on, baby, let's keep going. Keep grinding this out. One-two pitch, fouled off, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Mariners 3, Angels 1 here in the bottom of the 6th on MLB Network, a global broadcast. One-two pitch, fouled off, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Bizzardo on the mound, Yohan Moncada in the box. Come on, baby, let's go. One-two pitch, fouled off again. Moncada really grinding out this at-bat. Come on, Bizzardo. One-two pitch, fouled off again. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Come on, Bizzardo. Keep grinding, baby. What a long at bat here. 7th pitch incoming here shortly. Bizzardo just trying to get the right pitch here with Cal Raleigh. 0 for 2 so far for Yohan Moncada. 1-2 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Bizzardo Moncada. And now we have a mound visit by Cal. And every time that Cal ends up making a mound visit, usually the next pitch or pitch after that usually ends up turning into something positive. Hopefully it will here. 2-2 pitch, low and at the knees. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Mariners up 3-1 here in the bottom of the 6th.
Oh my God.
Let them know all day. There we go. We're at 105. Let's see if we can get to 125. You're on it all day. Absolutely. 3-2 pitch, in play, back, and flied out to right. Thank God. 2 away. Next up, 0 for 2 with a K, center fielder Joe Adell. Crazy the bond that I have with my pup. You know, sometimes even when it ends up being a little warm in here and me grinding, she'd rather be right next to me, you know, sleeping here and relaxing than somewhere with air conditioning on her and a little bit more comfortable. And that is out number 3. Nice job by Bizzardo there. Oh, 8? I don't know. I mean, if we can get another meltdown by someone like, you know, Kikuchi had in that 1 inning, yeah, there's a chance that we could get to 8 or more. But, I mean, we only have a few innings left, so it really just depends on the bullpen. If the bullpens are good, no chance in hell. But if the bullpens are shaky by one or both teams, yeah, it could happen. Mariners definitely could end up getting, you know, 2 or 3 or 4 more runs. But again, it's kind of hard to say at this point because you don't really know who they're going to be bringing in. You know, you kind of have an idea on who they're going to be bringing in, but you don't really fully know all the time. So, I mean, I'll be able to predict home runs and big plays usually once, twice, 3 times in a stream, like the Julio homer and the Randy homer. But yeah, I mean, we started off with Bizzardo, which is good. You figured it was going to either be Bizzardo or Brash when we're ahead. But when we're tied or when we're losing, they usually go with the others, you know, Legomina or Vargas or Thornton. And that's when shit goes, you know, down the tubes typically. So, all right, let's see who's up next here in the top of the set. I'm looking for a home run. I'm looking for home run number 40 from Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go, Cal. Batting second, doing big things with that big home run. 2-run jack, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Give him that mean mug face, baby. And batting third, DHing in the 5-hole. He even has a double today, believe it or not. Mitch Garver. Let's go. Like, who would have thought that, like, Garver and Solano would be that much better than Dylan Moore? But that's where we're at right now. All right, we gained quite a few subs. Where are we at now? We've gained 6 so far today. Shout out to all the new subs on the channel. Now we're at 65 to go to 21,200. If you are one of the new subs on the channel, I appreciate you very, very much. All right, Sam Bachman coming into the matchup. All right, let's go, Big Dumper. First pitch in play, and Raleigh flies out to left, 1 away. I was hoping that Cal was going to work the count a little bit there, but unfortunately, he swung at the first pitch and popped up and flied out, 1 away. Next up, Randy Arozarena. First pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. Bachman on the mound, Arozarena in the box. And we have a 4-game set here against the Angels, and then we have a 3-game set against the Athletics, and then a 3 or 4-game set the Rangers. So this will really determine, you know, if we can catch up to the Astros or not, depending on how well we do against the 3 other teams in the division. You know, again, it's not going to be easy against the Angels, the Athletics, or the Rangers, but based on how we've been playing lately, you know, we should have a pretty good chance on winning every single series. And maybe if we're lucky, we might end up sweeping a series. I don't think that we'll be able to sweep the Angels 4 games in a row, but if we end up winning the first 3, Logan Gilbert pitches game 4. So, you know, we'll see if we can get to that point, but we got to take it game by game. 1-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Down goes Randy Arozarena, and that is 2 away. Next up is Mitch Garver. First pitch to Garver, in play, and grounds out to third, throw to first, and that is out number 3. Let's go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Mariners up 3-1 on the Angels. Next up for the Angels, 0 for 1 with a base on ball. 7-hole hitter, catcher Travis d'Arnaud. Batting second, 0 for 2 with a K, former San Francisco Giant right fielder Lamont Wade Jr. And batting third, 0 for 2, 9-hole hitter, third baseman Luis Rengifo. Trident's up. Let's go M's. But the only reason why the lineup is not the greatest, with guys like Garver and Solano and Dylan Moore in the lineup, is we went against a lefty pitcher. And we don't really have very many righties on the team that can produce. So usually when we end up having a right-handed pitcher and we go heavy lefty, then we can have guys like, Dominic Canzone and Cole Young and, a few of these other guys in the lineup that will give us a better chance to win. So, ultimately, we just need to grab a few more right-handed hitters, and hopefully we can get Eugenio Suarez back on the team. We got Naylor, which is nice to give us a little bit more depth at first base, but, we still need a few more, and hopefully we end up calling up Harry Ford at some point or another, and he might end up being a piece of the trade bait, because I assume if we're going to get Gino, we would have to give up Harry Ford and another pitcher or player in the farm. They would want someone that's good enough to help a team win and could start literally right away. And I want to have Harry Ford on the team, even though he does play catcher and we already have Cal Raleigh. I would rather have Harry Ford than Mitch Garver. But again, if we have to sacrifice Harry Ford and another player or two to get Gino back, it would be worth it. Especially when you end up being a top 10 offensive and defensive player at third base. It's not easy to be a power hitter at third, let alone to be a great defender at third. You would almost take one or the other, but to be able to get a great player defensively and offensively and can hit homers 30 to 50 a year, yeah, that's the guy that the Mariners should have never let go. So, oh God, Carlos Vargas is in. Hold your breath. And there's been many times when we've been up 3-1, and in a matter of minutes, we end up losing the lead and end up being down 4-3. I hope it works out. Let's see if he ends up hitting the strike zone early. First pitch from Vargas to d'Arnaud. Fouls one off, high and inside. 0-1 count. And it seems like every fucking pitch is high and inside. And if you notice, he almost hit a guy in the neck when he was leaning forward to bunt, and then hit another guy in the back last time that we saw him. So he doesn't know how to pitch right down the middle or high and away or low and away. Everything is high and tight. It almost kind of reminds me of trying to be like Roger Clemens, but again, you're not Roger. You're not going to intimidate anyone. If anything, you're going to hit someone and it's going to cause a fight. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike swinging there, high and inside. No balls and 2 strikes to d'Arnaud. 0-2 pitch, in play, grounds out to second, throw to first, and got him. So far, so good for Carlos Vargas, 1 away. Next up for the Angels, right fielder Lamont Wade Jr. This is just weird seeing him in an Angel uniform after seeing him in a Giant uniform all these years. It's like seeing Jerry Rice in a Seahawk uniform. It just doesn't look right. That he can still play, but sometimes, when you have certain memories of guys like Jerry Rice, first Niners and then Raiders, right? With Rich Gannon. And then obviously they still want to continue playing, and sometimes they end up being on random teams late in their career. 0-1 pitch, in play, And Lamont Wade back, but Julio is there. 2 away. Good defense there by Julio. Nice job. Down goes Lamont Wade Jr., but just still looks a little funny to me with an Angel uniform on after being a Giant for all those years. Next up, third baseman Luis Rengifo. Robin Ventura. Oh, I watched that live when that happened. No one's catching Nolan Ryan on any fucking record ever. He's got the most no-hitters, 1-hitters, 2-hitters, 3-hitters, 4-hitters, 5-hitters. I mean, the guy pitched from 1968 to 1993. Mets, Los Angeles Angels, right? Houston Astros, Texas Rangers. He literally pitched in 4 different decades, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and never had Tommy John, never had his arm explode. I mean, honestly, I think Nolan Ryan might be an alien. I mean, there's just no fucking way that happens, but we saw it. First pitch to Rengifo, takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, in play, and a nice single to center by Luis Rengifo. I see you, Luis. Now, if you were going against like Evans or Pizarro, maybe that doesn't happen. Next up, 0 for 2, shortstop in the 1 hole, Zach Neto. Come on, Vargas. You fucking stink, but just get the job done here. Oh, no one expects any fucking strikeouts. Just pop-ups and ground-outs. First pitch, high and inside, almost hits Neto. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Vargas to Neto. But also, too, Nolan is a tough guy. So Robin was just, naive, thinking that he's younger, that he'll be able to get some licks in. But again, once Nolan put him in the headlock and gave him a noogie or 2 and then punched him on the head, you knew it was done. So never question, a guy like that. Doesn't matter if they're 30, 40, 50 years old. Guys that are older can still move. And Rengifo to second off a balk by Vargas. Come on, Vargas, you fucking bum. Yeah, but we still have time to be able to make up some ground. Again, this team, we went 20 plus years without making the playoffs. So we've only had, 4 good years in like 40, 95, 97, 2001, and 2022 with Cal Raleigh with the walk-off against the Athletics. But I do believe from 2022 to 2042, we should make the playoffs 10 to 13 times out of 20 years. So we should be able to make a World Series, we would think, in the next 20 years. Maybe we won't win it when we go there. We might get swept or only win a game, but we're definitely going in the right direction. And if we're looking at talent, we have a lot of talent, even though we've had, Ken Griffey Jr., Randy Johnson, the big unit, Edgar Martinez, Ichiro. Now you got guys like Julio and Cal on top of guys like Wu, Gilbert, and Kirby. We still got a ways to go. But again, just the fact that we have Durangelo in the farm that can pitch left or right, and we just picked up the best pitcher in the draft, Cade Anderson, with pick number 3. Good things are going to be happening very, very soon. 3-0 pitch, and Neto singles to left, and of course, Rengifo scores. Now it's 3-2. You fucking suck, Vargas. You fucking bum. Next up is Mike Trout, and if we're not careful, he hits a home run, we're going to be down 4-3, and I can't tell you how many times we've been up 3-1, they put him in the game, and then we end up being tied or down. Brutal. I don't even know why he's on the team. I don't even know why he fucking pitches. He is fucking terrible. Because the thing is like, he's got like high velocity, but he has no control. It's like, just because you can pitch, 95 miles an hour, but you can't hit the fucking strike zone. And it's like almost every pitch you fear he's going to hit someone, and just doesn't have the control. He just throws it in his hopes that it can go close, where Cal can grab it. But that's not someone that you want on the team. He definitely is by far, even as bad as Dylan Moore is, Vargas is the worst player on the team. Dylan Moore obviously is right there with him. Those two guys, it wouldn't hurt my feelings if we never saw him again, but it is what it is. But now we're gonna need some more production from our hitters here, because again, we don't really know where we're going to be going, pitching wise and hitting wise. But both of those guys are terrible. I mean, Demo, as far as regular player, not good. and it's not like Solano and Garver are that much better, only barely, but definitely Dylan Moore is the worst. And, Vargas is by far the biggest liability, because the thing is, if Demo strikes out 4 times, that's not going to make us lose. But when Vargas comes into the game, he does make us lose a lot. So that's why I feel that even though Dylan might be worse as an overall player, offensively and defensively, Vargas costs us games. Dylan doesn't. Dylan is just a waste of space when he bats, and doesn't really make a whole lot of plays defensively. Every once in a while he can, but Vargas is that guy that, will lose more games for the Mariners than anybody else, and that hurts. Yeah. I mean, if we can call up Harry Ford, at some point and have him, but right now it's about the money, the money that's owed. And that's why sometimes some of these guys are still stuck on the team is based off the salary, or for whatever feeling the owner or GM has towards that particular player. So. And now we have Gabe Spire coming into the game. Finally, they made a good decision here. But Gabe has been a little streaky, but at least he only needs 1 out, not 3. So hopefully this will be the good Gabe here. First pitch, right down the middle, called ball to Mike Trout. How dare they do that? 1-0 count, should be 0-1. Come on, Gabe. And Gabe's really streaky. He's one of those guys that used to be the second best behind Brash, but now Bizzardo is more consistent, and he has had some wild pitches, RBIs, and home runs he's given up. But one thing is for sure, most of the time he's much better than Vargas, but he can still give up big plays like Vargas as well. So we have to be a little aware here with what we get from Gabe. Bottom of the 7th, runner at second with 2 outs. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking there, right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike from Spire to Trout. 1-1 pitch. Fouls that one off high and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at second with 2 outs. Trout in the box. Gabe Spire on the mound. Come on, Gabe. Let's go. Now, Gabe came in for Vargas. They kept Vargas in. And again, Vargas, it seems like he never can keep the score of what it was. Like if we're up 3-1, it always ends up being 3-2, 3-3, or we end up being down 4-3 or 5-3. It's like, how many times are you going to let a guy lose a game for the team before you cut him or let him go to AAA? Trent Thornton was bad at the beginning of the year. He gave up 5 homers in the first 15 games, and then he got hurt, thank God. And then we were able to get him to be a little bit better, but I don't trust him. There's quite a few guys, in the pen out of like the 8, 9, 10 guys. I only trust like 3. So Brash, Bizzardo, and Munoz, and then occasionally Spire. 1-2 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at second and 2 outs. MLB Network Global Broadcast. Mariners up 3-2 against our rival, the Los Angeles Angels. I always love playing this team. It's always a lot of fun. Most of the time it'll be in the Mariners' favor, but regardless of the Angel record, they grind, they battle. And again, if you remember at the beginning of the year, they ended up winning game 1 5-4, and then game 2 8-6, and then we won game 3. And I don't know why we're playing all games on the road in Los Angeles. And there we go. And that's out number 3. Nice job by Gabe. And again, that's the good Gabe. The bad Gabe would have given up a hit, a home run, an RBI. So at least he did his job. End of the 7th inning, and we're up by 1. If we didn't, if you were going to do that anyways, why didn't we have Gabe Spire pitch and just not have Vargas pitch at all? But realistically, Gabe could have given up a run also, but I think we feel a little bit more comfortable, with Gabe rather than Vargas. So, but it is what it is. All right, let's go to the top of the 8th inning and let's win this fucking game. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 2 with a base on ball and a K, Jorge Polanco. Batting second, 1 for 3 with 2 Ks, Donovan Solano. And batting third, 0 for 2 with a base on ball, right fielder Dylan Moore. Don't fucking have Dylan Moore hit. Put in Dominic Canzone, Luke Raley, fucking anybody. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. We got to win, baby. Let's go. We hit over 100 likes, which is fantastic. Gained quite a few subs as well. Gained 6. Now we only need, or actually, what did we gain here? 35. And then we gained another, 10 after that? So now, yeah, we gained another 10. So we've had 16 subs just today. We went from needing 65 subs to only now 55. And that was in a matter of 5-10 minutes. So shout out to the roughly 200 people in the room. We got 10 subs out of those people. And now we just got another one. So now we're at 17 new subs just here today. $17 new subs. Let's go. 21,146. Only 54 more to get to 21,200. Let's go. All right, Fanatics in the game for the Angels. Hopefully he'll have a fucking meltdown as well. First pitch to Jorge Polanco. High and away with that slider. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike swinging low and away. Fanatics on the mound, Jorge Polanco in the box. Let's go, Polo. Shout out to all the new subs. Appreciate you. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. You haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help your boy out. And we're at 10 on the dono train, 90 to go to hit the goal. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike looking low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jorge Polanco. Polo, back. See ya! Jorge Polanco, 389 feet, 4-2 Mariners. Fuck yeah, baby. That's what we do. And you knew at some point if Randy was going to homer, Julio was going to homer, it was only given time for Polo to get the job done. Nice job, Jorge. Fuck yeah, baby. Let's go. And that might have gave us the proper insurance that we needed. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. There we go. Next up is Donovan Solano. First pitch, takes a strike swinging right down the middle, 0-1 count. Way to bring that electricity, Jorge Polanco, to make up for that shit performance from Carlos Vargas. You got the run back. Nice job. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike swinging high and inside. No ball, 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. 4-2 Mariner lead here late. And again, we want to try to get to 5 before this game is over. 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. And down goes Donovan Solano on 3 pitches, which might happen with Dylan Moore, who's up next, unless they have someone come in and pinch hit, which I hope. We just don't want to have any wasted at-bats, and we are going to have Dominic Canzone. So at least they listened. There we go. That's a better option. Let's go, Dom. We'll take a Dom bomb, baby. And Dom has actually been pretty good since we called him up, from AAA when we brought up Cole Young and Ben Williamson as well. Let's go, Canzone. First pitch from Fanatics to Canzone. Takes a strike swinging right down the middle. Shit, if he would have connected on that, that would have been gone. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Low and away. Behind in the count. 0-2. Let's go, baby. Nice job by Polo. And remember, it's about hitting home runs. When the Mariners don't hit home runs, we don't win. And luckily, we've been able to bust out 3 today. And we needed every single one of them. 0-2 pitch. And strikes out swinging on 3 pitches, just like Solano. Dylan Moore would have struck out on 3 pitches as well, but at least we would have had a better chance with Dom. But he's not able to, capitalize there. But he's been sitting on the fucking bench for 2 hours and 30 minutes. So, sometimes you need more than one fucking at-bat. Next up is Ben Williamson. Let's go, Ben. But at least we won't have to worry about seeing Dylan Moore the rest of this game, offensively or defensively. Let's go, Big Ben. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. Help us get to 125 likes before the stream ends. I mean, we got 200 plus in the room, so we should be able to do that. And we hopefully will get a few more on the dono train before the stream ends as well. 0-1 pitch. In play. Popped up. and flied out to right for out number 3. But the damage is done by Jorge Polanco, my boy. We got homers by Polo, homer by Julio, and a 2-run blast by Randy Arozarena. Life is good. Let's keep it moving, baby. Let's see who's up next for the Angels here in the bottom of the 8th. Next up for the Angels in the bottom of the 8th, 1 for 3 with an RBI and a K, Nolan Shonowell. Batting second, 1 for 3 with a K, left fielder Taylor Ward. And batting third, 0 for 3, third baseman in the 5-hole, Yohan Moncada. Tridents up, let's go M's. And if you have been sleeping under a rock, the Mariners have just acquired Naylor from the Diamondbacks, the former Guardian as well, first baseman. And we're very excited about having the depth so that we, Rowdy Tellez is no longer on the team. Donovan Solano is definitely not good enough to play first, but neither is Luke Raley or anyone else they experimented with. We haven't had a good first baseman since Ty France. We do have Tyler Locklear in AAA that could play first, but obviously they're having him develop. And again, we still have a few guys in the farm that we could call up or possibly use as trade bait, if we can get Gino to come to the team. But so far, so good. We got one of the, 2 guys that we really had our eyes on. Now we just got to hope and pray that Gino wants to come back to Seattle rather than going to the Dodgers, Yankees, or Cubs. I wouldn't blame him if he ends up going there. And he may not even have a say on where he goes. The team might just send him wherever they get the best deal in return. But we can hope and pray that he comes back to the Mariners at third base. And we still need 2 or 3 guys in the pen to replace shit guys like Vargas. But so far, so good. 4-2 Seattle lead. And I assume that Spire will come back out since he barely pitched that last inning. Now Gabe is still out there. First pitch from Gabe Spire to Nolan Shonowell. Takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and away. Misses the strike zone with that 4-seam fastball by like 5 fucking feet. Come on, Gabe. And again, we don't have very many lefties, and I'm really, thankful that we drafted Cade Anderson first round, pick number 3. I don't really know what the Angels were thinking. They had pick number 2 and picked another guy over Cade, and we will make him pay. And I imagine when we play the Angels and Cade is on the mound, he will definitely make them remember why that they passed on him. And obviously we know with the first pick they decided to go for a positional player. And a nice single there by Shonowell. But with Willits, going first, that was a little bit of a shocker too. I don't think a lot of people anticipated the first 2 picks, but sometimes that's what happens in the MLB draft. It's not as, televised or popular as like the NFL draft. Next up is Taylor Ward. But it's going to be really nice to have a starting lefty in the rotation at some point. Durangelo pitching left or right, Cade Anderson being a lefty, and then pairing those 2 farm guys with Wu, Gilbert, and Kirby. We might have the best pitching staff in baseball once those 2 guys come up. And then, we won't have to really worry about Evans or Hancock. They'll be emergency guys. And at some point, Luis Castillo will not be on this team anymore. He is a liability. Wouldn't hurt my feelings if we got rid of him. 2-0 pitch. Takes a foul ball right down the middle from Gabe Spire. 2 balls and 1 strike to Taylor Ward. Bottom of the 8th, 4-2 Mariner lead. Two-one pitch, high and away. 3 balls and 1 strike with a runner at first and no outs. Mariners up 4-2. Global broadcast here on MLB Network. We're in the bottom of the 8th, and hopefully we can get the dub. We need this. It's been rough lately for Mariner fans, including myself. So, we need to feel good about getting this, game 1 win. And we got 3 more games against the Angels here on the road after this. 3-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. Count now is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on. Nope, they got a runner at first with no outs. 4-2 Mariner lead. Now, once starting pitcher starts, they don't come back in. Anytime a player starts a game and then goes out, they're not allowed to come back into the game. 3-2 pitch. Incoming here shortly. Come on, Gabe. Spire on the mound. Taylor, Ward in the box. 3-2 pitch. In play. Fielder's choice. Runners out. And that is 1 away. And now Taylor is going to be hitting for Moncada. Chris Taylor, the former Dodger. All right, we're having a pitching change, and we're bringing in Brash, which is a good move here. All right, so Gabe is done. Chris Taylor, the former Dodger, making an appearance for Yoan Moncada. And we got Brash coming in, and hopefully we get the good Brash, not the shitty one lately. So, and Matt was so locked in for such a good chunk of the season, and we need him to be good here. Commercial break. Brash coming in and warming up. Chris Taylor in the box. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 125 to 150 likes. We're at 10 on the dono train, 90 to go. We've gained quite a few subs already, which is a great sign to see. Gained 17 subs just in this stream alone. Great movement. And again, we went from the beginning of the season to about 1,000 to 1,500 regular viewers. Now we're at 5,200 regular viewers, and it feels like it's going up by 100 almost every day. So we're definitely getting to the point where we're starting to get bigger and bigger numbers, and more support, which is great. I put in all my blood, sweat, and tears, into this. This is my 13th year. 9th year on YouTube. Next year will be my 14th year of streaming, 10 on YouTube next year. And again, I couldn't do it just by myself. Appreciate every single one of y'all. First pitch from Brash to Taylor. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. 0-1 count. That's exactly what we need to see. 0-1 pitch. High and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Brash to Taylor. Yeah, but again, Emerson Hancock isn't good enough to be a starter on this team. Luis Castillo is old and not good anymore. Again, even though he had a little bit of a resurgence in his career this year. But again, when we first brought him in 2022 from the Reds, he was good, helped us make the playoffs. But in 2023 and 2024, he was ass, and his stats were going in the wrong direction. And then in 2025, it was a little bit better than the last 2 years, but still lately not really as trustworthy. And again, once we can get Durangelo and Cade Anderson in the starting lineup, then we won't have to worry so much about Hancock, Evans, or Castillo, and that'll put us in a good position to add on with Kirby, Gilbert, and Wu, who are actually our studs. 2-2 pitch. And big swing and a miss. Down he goes. Chris Taylor. 2 away. There we go. No fireman's hat for a home run for you. Next up is center fielder in the 6-hole, Joe Adele. First pitch. from Matt Brash. Low and away, missing the strike zone with that slider by about 3 feet. 1-0 count. Come on, Brash. So, when it's baseball season, I do Mariner. When we do college football, I do Oregon Ducks. So obviously, because I live here in Oregon and I've been a Duck fan and a Mariner fan for a long time. So I do Ducks and I do Mariners, and that's what most people know me as like the Oregon Ducks streamer, the Seattle Mariners streamer. So I'm going to be the number one guy for both of those teams, based off views on YouTube. Then we also do NFL Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night. Occasionally do Buccaneers once in a while on top of the regular Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night, or just good matchups. We'll do a little bit of the NHL, when we're waiting for baseball to start and when football ends with the Seattle Kraken. Do a little bit of the Portland Trail Blazers for the NBA in that time as well. NASCAR Cup Series, definitely we'll do that for a little bit also. And we do WWE PLEs once a month. And sometimes even Monday Night Raw. So we do basketball, baseball, football, hockey, March Madness. Sometimes in the past, we've done UFC and boxing. So really, there isn't anything that we don't do, except if you go above and beyond, like, tennis or golf. We don't do that. But as far as the major sports and wrestling, this is your one-stop shop. 2-1 pitch, fouled off, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Brash to Adele. But if you end up, looking on my library, there's a lot of stuff that's on there. I mean, again, I've been grinding for quite some time. And even just since 2017, I put out 2,500 live streams or videos since 2017, which is almost like recording every day for like 6 years straight. So, I go on my birthday. Don't take days off on my birthday or for Christmas or Thanksgiving. I mean, if there's a sporting event or something, that's worth doing, we're going to grind. Which is outside. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Brash to Joe Adele. No, because I live in Oregon, so there wouldn't really be a reason for me to be a Giant fan, especially when I was 7 years old and I met Ken Griffey Jr. So I was the only one from my school to ever meet him. And Adele strikes out swinging for out number 3. Nice job by Matt Brash, my boy. Way to be electric right there. But again, being young and knowing about Ken Griffey Jr. when I was 3, 4, 5 years old, in the farm and coming up, and then getting a chance to, me and my dad to meet him, get his autograph, get his photo, meet his dad, Ken Griffey Sr., get a photo with him. Still have the Donruss rated rookie to this day. And, again, great signature. He actually took the time to spell Ken Griffey Jr. instead of these athletes just doing abbreviations, which is kind of lame nowadays. Still try to go to games, with my dad when we have a chance. And, when I was 10, I got to meet my dad's hero, Sandy Koufax. And again, my dad used to live in LA and Hawaii, and my dad's been a Dodger fan since the 50s. And he literally watches every single game from beginning to end. So when we talk about Northwest Sports Fanatics, it's not just me. It's also people that are close to me, like my dad. And again, when you end up meeting, arguably the best left-handed hitter ever with the purest swing with no steroids or PEDs in Ken Griffey Jr. And then 3 years later, I meet the best left-handed pitcher ever, other than Big John, Randy Johnson, the big unit, or Steve Carlton, meeting Sandy Koufax. It definitely changed my life for the better. And, to be able to meet those icons, legends, and Hall of Famers, at 7 and 10 years old. And honestly, if I didn't meet those guys at 7 and 10, who knows if I'm doing sports, on YouTube today. Maybe I'm doing video games instead. Maybe I'm doing beat making. Maybe I'm doing something else. But it definitely impacted me for the better. That is big facts. But yeah, definitely had no connection, to the Giants and whatnot. It's usually just Oregon or Washington teams. And the only team that I root for that's outside of the Pacific Northwest is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Because when I was 13, I was getting to a point where I wanted to choose a team, but I didn't want to be a bandwagon Niner fan. They already won 4 titles with Joe Montana, and then Jerry Rice and Steve Young won in 94 when I was 12. And I just had this weird feeling that if I became a Niner fan, that they were never going to win again. and I was right. And they haven't won since. Steve Young in 94. I waited one more year, and I saw Derek Brooks and Warren Sapp get drafted. I already liked John Lynch and Mike Allstott and Rondé Barber, and the rest is history. I'm a defensive fan. I like linebackers and safeties. So, I'm not the prototypical, regular college football or NFL fan. I like defense. I like offensive line. I like special teams. And it's not like I don't like quarterback, running back, wide receiver, or tight end, but I think those are kind of, it's a little bit overrated. You have to have good players in those positions, but as any real football fan knows, if you don't have a good O-line, D-line, defense, or coaching, you ain't going to do shit. Next up is J.P. Crawford. 1-0 pitch or 0-1 pitch in play. Grounds out to first, tap on the bag, and that is one away. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, Julio. Top of the 9th inning with one out. Julio Rodriguez in the box. Fulmer on the mound. First pitch to Julio, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. And, the Seahawks didn't have anybody really defensively that I could connect to. Niners really didn't have anybody on defense at that point either. I mean, I'm a big fan of Montana and Rice when I was a kid, and I love Bo Jackson and Barry Sanders and Deion Sanders when he was on the Niners, but, I just didn't want to, be a bandwagon fan. Like, look at me, 5 championships by the time I'm 12. And, I just had a weird feeling that they were never going to win again. And I was right. And like I said, I'd rather, root for guys that fit my personality, like Sapp, Brooks, Lynch, Barber, Allstott. Those are, who I am. 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking low and away. Big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike from Fulmer to Julio. 1-1 pitch in play. And Rodriguez lines out to center, 2 away. Yeah, and again, I've been a fan of a lot of these teams at like 3, 4, 5 years old. I mean, the last team that I became a fan of was the Bucks, and I was 13. And I'm 43 now, so I've been loyal to all my teams for 30 years plus, some 40 years. Next up is big dumper Cal Raleigh, finally batting from the left-handed side. Can we get home run number 40? Let's go big dumper. Let's go Cal. First pitch from Fulmer to Raleigh. Takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. Come on, Cal. Oh, 1 pitch, low and away by Fulmer. 1 ball and 1 strike from Fulmer to Raleigh. Yeah, I mean, if it was just about offensive players, like 90% of the fans, then maybe I would have went, Hawks or Niners or something of that nature. But, I just didn't feel a connection with those guys and my personality. So 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to big dumper Cal Raleigh. But I did love Cortez Kennedy. I mean, I respect greatness wherever it's at. So I feel with baseball, 1-2 pitch and big swing and a miss, and we don't get home run number 40 by Cal Raleigh. We're going to have to wait until possibly tomorrow or later on in this particular matchup. It's a 4-game set, so hopefully we get one. WWE streams are going to be once a month, so SummerSlam is coming up really soon, like next week ish. So it'll be a 2-day event, so I'll end up doing SummerSlam. So you just have to check social media or check my channel, and I end up doing updates daily on what I'm doing. Obviously when it's Mariners, that's going to, be 99% of the streams while it's Mariner season. But if I end up missing a game a month, it'll only be because of WWE. So you just look into when SummerSlam is coming up. I think August 2nd, 3rd, around that time. And then we'll end up doing it then. And then if I have time to be able to do Mariners and WWE, I'll try. But sometimes they overlap and I have to choose one or the other. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 9th inning and let's finish this game off. And let's see if we can get this dub. Next up, in the 7 hole, 0 for 2 with a base on ball, catcher, former Atlanta Brave, Travis d'Arnaud. Batting second, 0 for 3 with a K, right fielder, former Giant, Lamont Wade Jr. And batting third, 1 for 3 with a run, third baseman, 9-hole hitter, Luis Rengifo. Trident's up, let's go M's. Yeah, I'm excited. You know, and like I said, I've been a wrestling fan since like 3-4 years old. So, you know, I watched Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, you know, Legion of Doom, Road Warriors, Bushwhackers, Ric Flair, Andre the Giant. And then I really, you know, love WCW and ECW more. I appreciated The Rock and Stone Cold tremendously. Mankind, DX, you know, but I was more of an NWO guy. I liked the Cruiserweight division with the Lucha Libres, you know, like Psychosis and La Parka. You know, loved RVD and Sabu and ECW because it gave you, even though it was like a low-end promotion with Paul E. Dangerously, which is now Paul Heyman, right? RVD and Sabu and everyone that was in ECW gave you that hardcore wrestling that I really loved, that I thought was super original. I saw things that I never saw in WWF and WCW, but there was a lot of wrestling being watched back in my day for, you know, all three, WWF, WCW, and ECW. And even to this day, you know, sometimes I'll go back and, you know, kind of try to go back to my childhood and kind of reconnect. Let's go to the bottom of the ninth. Mariners up 4-2. And we had 3 home runs today by Julio Rodriguez, solo dinger. Jorge Polanco, solo dinger, and a 2-run jack by Randy Arozarena. And we got Andres Munoz into the game to shut this shit down, and hopefully he does. First pitch to Travis d'Arnaud. Takes a strike swinging, low and away. 0-1 count. And we saw Kikuchi end up having a little bit of a meltdown, and luckily we were able to get on him. Hopefully the same will be here with Andres Munoz shutting it down. 0-1 pitch in play, and grounded out to third, throw to first, 1 away. There we go. Nice job by Andres Munoz. 2 more outs, and we have the victory. Next up is Lamont Wade Jr. Munoz on the mound, Lamont Wade Jr. in the box. Oh, yeah, I'm a big Macho Man guy, too. No doubt. Yeah, I was born in 82, so I'm 43. So most of the wrestling and sports I started watching when I was 3, so around 1985. Got memories, you know, from 85, 86, 87, and then a lot of special memories from 89, you know, moving forward when I met King Griffey Jr. and, you know, going from that point too. But 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, low and at the knees. No balls and 2 strikes from Munoz to Lamont Wade Jr. When Barry won it, I think I was 6, if that was like 88. So since he got into the draft in 89 with like Aikman and Dion, that 1989 score set. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees, which should have been strike 3, but for whatever reason called ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Lamont Wade Jr. Appreciate that. You know, again, I have really taken a step forward, you know, with exercise and eating healthy. I don't eat fast food. I don't drink soda. I walk 5 miles a day, 7 days a week with my pup. I eat healthy. And again, you know, if you end up making changes for the better, you know, obviously I got good genetics from my mom and my dad as well. But yeah, you know, most of the time when I tell people I'm 43, they think I'm in my, you know, 30s. Some people might say 20s, like, you know, high 20s and whatnot. But, you know, it's never too late to be able to take care of yourself. And Lamont Wade Jr. going to first. Little wild pitch there, and unfortunately, you get a freebie there at first base. Next up is Luis Rengifo. Now we just need a double play right up the middle or back-to-back punch-outs. First pitch from Munoz to Rengifo. Takes a strike looking. 0-1 count. Even though that should have been called a ball, that's a bad call by this ump. Let's go, baby. Finish strong. Let's not blow this. Let's not be like Carlos Vargas. Let's go. First pitch in play. Fielder's choice. Runner out at second, and that is 2 away. Potentially the last batter here for Munoz. 1 for 3 with an RBI. Leadoff hitter Zach Neto. Let's go, Munoz. First pitch from Munoz to Neto. Low and away. 1-0 count. Great job by All Day and Captain. I appreciate you guys. And hopefully we'll get a few people coming in here late to be able to show some love so we can go from 10 and getting closer to that 100 goal number. We hit 1 goal and we're still looking to try to get that second goal. 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike swinging low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at first and 2 outs. Mariners up 4-2 on a global broadcast here on MLB Network. And this is your one-stop shop for Seattle Mariner baseball for the rest of your life and the rest of my life. 1 ball, 1 strike, runner at first, and 2 outs. 1-1 pitch, low and away with that sinker, missing the strike zone again. 2 balls and 1 strike with a runner at first and 2 outs. Yeah, I mean, if Barry had an offensive line, I mean, he would have obliterated every fucking record. I mean, Emmett was great, but Barry was on a different level, I mean, Barry had like Lomas Brown. He had like 1 guy, the Cowboys had like 2, 3, 4 Pro Bowlers on the line. I mean, if you ended up putting Barry there, I mean, he would have literally obliterated every record Emmett would have ever thought he could get. And then above and beyond, and again, maybe he would have played longer, because he would have ended up winning championships. And, again, walking away in your prime is something that we've seen Lions player do, Barry Sanders and Megatron. And Neto reaches on an infield single there to third. Come on, Munoz. Don't fuck this up. Now you got runners at first and second for Mike Trout. Motherfuck. And again, like I mentioned, Munoz normally is an all-star closer, but lately has been a little shaky. Get the fucking job done. Next up is Mike Trout. No RBIs, no fucking home runs. Get the job done. Every time we play the Angels, they always make it interesting. It's never like, oh, it's over. It's like you really got to earn it, regardless of what our record is or what their record is. They hate us. We hate them. It may not be as, as controversial or heated like the Astros and us, or maybe even the Rangers and us, but it's always a series that I love. And Williamson couldn't make that throw to first, but again, great effort there by the Angels. First pitch to Mike Trout, high and away, 1-0 count. Toddy with a tenner. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Stacks, Racks with a little cactus jack, bang, bang. Thank you so much. 2-0 pitch. High and away, 3 balls and no strikes to Mike Trout. Come on, Munoz. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big card collector and toy collector. I would say probably 95% of my collection is still in the box, and I've been collecting since like 85. 3-0 pitch, and that's a walk. Now we have bases loaded. Are you kidding me? What the fuck are you doing, Munoz? Ay. All right, next up. First baseman in the 3-hole, Nolan Shonowell. Flying Monk in the building. What's good? Yeah, but like Transformers, Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joes, Walking Dead, basketball, baseball, football cards, starting lineups, McFarlane's, wrestling figures, you name it. I probably got it or I've had one. So, I mean, I did sacrifice a Michael Jordan PSA 9 rookie card for this channel, to get it, to kind of take off for my equipment, my microphones, my computer. And now that card is worth like 20 to 30,000. So, not every card I own is going to be like that, but that definitely was the holy grail that I sacrificed for my dreams. So if I didn't have any dreams or goals, I never would have sold the card. I would have hung on to it. I could have invested into a business or, a house or a car, but sometimes you got to sacrifice things for your dreams to come true. Bottom of the 9th, 4-2 Mariner lead. First pitch in play. And Shonowell lines out to left, and that is game over. Here we go. Trident's up. Go Mariners, and that is the final. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Munoz had us worried there, especially getting it to bases loaded, but finding a way to get the job done. Hell yeah. I mean, it's always going to give you like a mini heart attack, when you're watching the Angels and the Mariners play, because you just don't really know what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, you just have to hope and pray that you get the job done. And Shonowell flies out to left. and the Mariners win. Final score, Seattle Mariners 4, Los Angeles Angels 2. And when the Mariners win, what do? We fucking dance. Mariners win. Mariners win. Mariners win. Fuck yeah. Big win for us. We had to earn it too with 3 home runs. And again, it's not often the Mariners are going to hit 3 home runs in a game. And we did predict 2 of them. And thankfully that the prediction came true. Let's go. Fun game to call. I mean, obviously a little nerve-wracking, with the bases loaded and whatnot. But again, finding a way to get the job done. And we got Logan Evans, his first win on the road, which is awesome. And even though Munoz sucked, he ends up picking up the save. Let's go, baby. Anything that you want to be able to see photo-wise, Toddy, before we go? Let me know. I got photos for Cole and Sarah already. Toddy, if there's something that you want to be able to see photo-wise, let me know. I got you. Let's go, baby. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Brash and Munoz, not really as reliable. And, even Spire, like I said, really the only one that's in the bullpen that's 100% trustworthy is surprisingly Brazzardo. And I would say Brash and Munoz are they used to be 99%, 100% reliable. Now I think both of them are 80%. They're still really, really good, but they have had some moments where they've given up, hits, runs, home runs, RBIs. And so, and it's baseball. It's natural. It's going to happen. Sometimes it's not just the pitcher. Sometimes you have to give credit to the other team. They did something well. They read the pitch and they made a good swing and they got the job done. But based on reputation, we expect Munoz and, Brash to be good every single time, which is kind of unrealistic, but that's what we expect because we have so many shitty guys in the pen. Vargas, Snyder, Legomina, and the list goes on and on and on. Thornton. So, the last thing that we need is the great ones to suck. Because if Munoz, Bizzardo, Spire, and Brash start to suck, then we fucking are done. There is no way we're going to win games. Even if you end up hitting 5 home runs, you're going to give up 5, when one of those other guys comes in. But at least we got Naylor, today, which is great. And hopefully we get Gino and a couple guys in the pen. But we got the job done, and that's what matters, Again, the Angels always play us tough, so. But let me know if there's anything that you want to be able to see, Toddy, before I go. Hell yeah, baby. Yeah, I might be old, but I don't look old. And I don't feel old, and I don't act old. So, I feel I'm an ageless wonder, but again, there's a lot of work that's put in, not eating fast food, not eating anything bad for me, not drinking soda, walking 5 miles a day, spending quality time with my pup. So that way I don't get depression or anxiety and, having a good mindset going into every single day. And, all right, no problem. If there's nothing that you want to be able to see, it's all good, but we'll throw up the photos of the guys that ended up being heroes for us today. Jorge Polanco, Randy Arozarena, and Julio Rodriguez. If it wasn't for those 3 guys, as well as this player here getting his first win on the road, Logan Evans, congratulations. You finally found out what it took. But again, he needed help with run support for him to get his first win on the road, and now he's got an above 500 record. Congratulations, Logan Evans. Shout out to Randy. You're the man. Shout out to Polo. You're the man. And shout out to Julio. Now we just need Cal Raleigh to join the home run party, and hopefully he'll hit a homer tomorrow. Let me take a quick look at the sub count where we're at as well. Flying Monk with a 10er. Appreciate you. Every dollar counts. Anything that you want to see photo-wise before we go, Flying Monk? Appreciate you. $10 holla. And again, every single dollar, will go towards, paying the internet bill, paying the streaming fee, and just basically taking care of my pup so we can continue doing the stream for the rest of my life. Bang, bang. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Tridents up. Go M's. Yeah, and again, I can't do it without you and Captain as well. So again, it's not just going to be just me. It's always going to be a team effort. And again, when you're Team NWSF, a lot of it is going to be for life. There are going to be people that come and go, but again, if you are respectful, you have chat etiquette, and you know how to be able to manage, a chat, again, and you know how to behave yourself in a normal way, yeah, there's a good chance that we'll have a good relationship for a very, very long time. We definitely eliminate the trolls and the haters and the negative people immediately, so that way they don't end up, bleeding the room out with good people. And I appreciate every single one of y'all. Anything I can do photo-wise for either one of you, Toddy, Flying Monk, let me know. But it'll be nice. I'll be able to have a late dinner and be able to take my pup on a walk. I mean, we did have pretty high temperatures of 85 to 90, but it should be cooling down now since it's almost 10 p.m. And I'm excited to be able to go on a nice victory walk with my pup. So I don't have it displayed here on the channel, but so my name's Orion. So it's like the constellation, like Orion's belt, spelled the same way, O-R-I-O-N. So I'll show you what it is. I have this option that I have, but I don't usually use it for streams. Let's see if I have it still up here. Do I have it still up? I don't even know if it gives me the option anymore. But I had an option where I could end up putting it in, like on the screen itself. But I thought it kind of took away from the overall. I don't want it to be too cluttered on the screen and whatnot. But yeah, but a lot of times people will call me O or Big O or, whatever nickname that they want to, be able to throw out and whatnot. But, luckily, could have been a Ryan, could have been a Brian, which would have been totally cool. But, definitely had parents that wanted to have that original first name. So. Okay, no problem. Appreciate you. Yeah, but just spelled like that. Just O-R-I-O-N. Well, appreciate all the captain for doing a great job. Shout out to all the individuals that supported K, Toddy, Flying Monk, Cole, Sarah. Appreciate you guys very, very much. And again, great to be able to see all the regulars on the channel come through and show love. Gained almost 20 subs on the stream alone. We're starting to really get it into high gear. And final score, Seattle Mariners 4, Los Angeles Angels 2. And feels very, very good. So again, I'll be live tomorrow. And again, we'll just go through here really quick, just the schedule. So that way people know what to expect here in the next couple days. So tomorrow, we're going to be streaming at the same time, 6:38 Pacific, and it'll be Brian Wu versus Soriano. I like our chances there. Wu will be on the thumb. And then on Saturday, we play at the same time, 6:38 Pacific, MLB Network stream again. Kirby versus Tyler Anderson. I like our chances there. And then on Sunday, the rubber match will be on Roku, which is kind of crazy, but I will have access to the game. And it'll be Logan Gilbert versus Hendricks. So we'll have, what do we have? We'll have Brian Wu on the thumb tomorrow. We'll have Julio on Saturday, and then we'll have Logan Gilbert on Sunday. I've already made all those thumbs in advance as well. So hopefully we sweep, but we can want to shoot for 3 out of 4. But if we win the first 3 games, we should be able to, find a way to win with Logan Gilbert, at least, hopefully. And I appreciate every single one of you guys very, very much. And final score, Seattle Mariners 4, Los Angeles Angels 2. And again, I'll be live again, same time, same place tomorrow, just a different thumb. Love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Orion, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Final score, Mariners 4, Angels 2. Tridents up. Go Mariners.